Tonight from Arizona's Chase Field, Root Sports brings you Houston Astros baseball. It's the first of 3 with the Diamondbacks and a very important number 160 on the schedule. Dallas Keuchel looks to turn around his road fortunes and get a must-win for the Astros, as well as a personal 20th on the year. Hi, everybody. Alan Ashby and Jeff Blum with you. Julia Morales joins us this evening. It's big time right now on the schedule. And by the way, the Astros coming out of Seattle winning 2 out of 3. That last one Wednesday night about as gritty as they come.
Yeah, it was good to see, too, because the pitching gave up some runs. Kazmir got beat around a little bit. But we talked about that runners in scoring position that the Astros had to pick up on. They did. 5 for 11. Ended up winning that ball game.
Now, with 3 to go, we've got our progressive upcoming schedule. And I'm not sure what you figure out of this, but the Astros are in a good spot. The Rangers lead in the division. The Astros are in as a wild card for the moment, but 3 big games. And Blummer, I'll let you explain all of this.
Win, baby. That's all you got to do. Just like Al Davis said for the Raiders, just go out there and win those ball games. Obviously, a half-game lead or a game lead for the Houston Astros with those 84 wins. If they can just win out, they don't have to worry about anything else. Maybe get a little help from their in-state rivals and the Rangers beating up on the Angels, hopefully.
Dallas Keuchel goes tonight. He's been just 4-8 on the road this year, but 15-0 at home. He had a rough game a few starts back, but since then, just dynamite.
Yeah, doing a lot of good things. Obviously, this will be his last start of the regular season. Doing a great job on the year. Trying to become that 8th Astros player to win 20 games in a season. He's also pitching for a possible Cy Young with the numbers he's been putting up all year long. And this place, Chase Field, is much like Minute Maid Park. Can give up the home run, but with Dallas Keuchel's stuff down the zone with that good slider, changeup, sinker mix, could be a good night and a big victory for the Houston Astros.
Coming up, Dallas Keuchel would love to seal the deal on his own tonight, but if he needs a little help, he knows who to turn to in closing time. We'll break down Luke Gregerson when we return. By Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Luke Gregerson has been a guy the Astros have certainly needed out of that bullpen. 31 saves on the year. He's had his ups and downs recently, but the ups have carried this team in a big way, Blummer.
Yeah, this might be where things turned around a little bit for Gregerson. Obviously, you see the fire in the belly. He wants that baseball. He wants to be that closer. Got taken out of that game last Saturday when he got roughed up a little bit, as you were talking about. But since then, coming back 3 for 3 in those saves per opportunity, 2 2/3 innings with those 4 strikeouts, doing a great job of keeping that sinker down, that slider down, making some great pitches, and he is pitching well when the Astros need him most down the stretch right here to finish this season off.
Coming up, it's a 3-game season as the Houston Astros close in on their first playoff spot in a decade. Can they win their way in? Lineups and first pitch are straight ahead. For the Houston Astros, 2015 has been an amazing ride, punctuated by power, by pitching, and by a return to winning baseball. But the journey isn't over yet, and there's only one thing left to do before the Astros reach the ultimate destination. 3 games remain, and the playoffs are in their sights. The journey continues in Phoenix, starting right now.
The roof is open here at Chase Field. It's time for some October baseball. Astros D-backs get ready to go. First pitch coming up in just a moment. Astros putting September behind them, a month they'd like to forget a lot of it as far as the record goes, 11-16 in that month. But there were some positives that came out of the month of September. How about the offense? Playing a little bit better than they had been all season long, actually. They were batting as a team about 242 through August. Check out the average, 272, jumping up. Pitching was a problem, but the home runs, 44, slugging percentage was up. Runs per game, how about 4.78 for this team? So all around offensively, a much better month. Like I said, the pitching struggled there. So hopefully the offense carries over into this last regular season series. They just came off a good series against the Seattle Mariners, taking 2 of 3 there, hitting 278 or 76 in that one. You see different players in this video right here. A lot of guys having good months. Lowry coming around. Of course, he's out with the injury, but Chris Carter in the lineup again today, guys, with the month of September that he's had. Hopefully they can carry some of that momentum as we start a new month and a new series tonight.
A lot, Julia, and obviously it is a new month, but it is season on the line right now for the Astros. Some other teams in that same position. Jose Altuve is set to start things tonight. By the way, the month of September, the only month on the season for the Astros that did not see them have a winning record. They were 11-16. But that last one, as we talked about, Blummer, so big for this club. Altuve has one on the hands as he lines it foul. Let's take a look at that lineup for the Astros tonight by Southwest.com. Jose Altuve, George Springer, Carlos Correa in the top 3 spots. Colby Rasmus, Luis Valbuena, and Chris Carter in the bottom 3. Preston Tucker, Jason Castro, and Dallas Keuchel with a stick in his hand tonight. 0-2 the count on Jose. The Astros went 49-42 in the first half, 35-33 here in the second half. But they have been spectacular in interleague play. 14-3, best record in all of Major League Baseball in interleague play. These Diamondbacks have also had a winning mark in interleague action this year. Altuve caught looking, a rare sight for the first out of the night.
Got a chance to see that here. We're going to take a look around Chase Field here. Yasmani Tomas in left field, A.J. Pollock in center field, Socrates Brito in right, Aaron Hill, Chris Owings on the left, Phil Gosselin at second base, Paul Goldschmidt at first base, Wellington Castillo doing the catching for Ruby De La Rosa.
One out for Springer. They appeal down to first, palms down. Umpires tonight behind the plate, Laz Diaz. It's Jeff Nelson, who you just saw down at first. He's the crew chief. Corey Blazer at second. And at third, Chris Guccione. The roof is open here in Arizona. Starting to cool down. Yesterday, very hot as this ball is off the body of Aaron Hill at third base. Tough play. And that will enable Springer to reach. We'll see how it's ruled. It is an E5 on Aaron Hill.
Speaking of hot, that ball was smoked down at third base. Having played here in Arizona quite a bit in my career at third base, that ball gets on you in a hurry here at Chase Field. This is a fast track. When you get a big right-handed hitter like George Springer out there, things like this are going to happen.
Speed aboard now for Carlos Correa. Carlos takes a strike on the outside edge. The Astros come in tonight hitting .248 as a club. That's 12th in the American League. They are still in that second spot in terms of home runs with 223. Carlos Correa has 21 of those. Stolen bases, they lead the league. And what's really important is the record. The Astros at 84-75. 9 games over 500 and presently a game in front of anybody else chasing for that second wild card spot. The Yankees have the first spot. Texas Rangers lead in the division. Springer has 15 bags and a line shot into right field. Hits softly, but Correa with that hit, and Springer takes a dive at second base as he goes around the bag, just tripped up. Otherwise, he's at third base with one out. So a costly slip or trip over the bag there for George Springer.
He was going into his turn at second base and lost his footing.
Center fielder, number 28.
It's good to see him bounce up, actually. Little jam shot. Watch Springer right before he came out and went out a camera shot. He started to stumble a little bit. Right there. See him just lose that step, and then it turned into a complete yard sale. Luckily, he's able to get back. Let the adventures begin.
So with one out, the E5 enabling Springer to reach. Carlos Correa with the base hit, and now Colby Rasmus, who gets the start in center field tonight. Colby hitting .232 on his year. Has 22 of those home runs we talked about. Line shot into right field. Springer had to freeze momentarily, but being waved to the plate. The throw coming in, not in time. RBI single, Colby Rasmus, and the speed of George Springer, able to get that first run on the board.
Well, it would have been a little bit easier if Springer was able to advance, but his speed at second base and Gary Pettis' aggressiveness as third base coach sent him on this bullet to right field off Colby's bat. Colby, we talked about how guys are a little more aggressive with runners in scoring position early in the game, and you can see that bullet to right. George knew he had to get on his horse. How about the great slide into home plate also? Pure athleticism on the slide.
That's exactly what it is. And that speed and combining to put the run on the board. Runners now at first and second. And that was a tough score from second base, and likely only a guy with that kind of ability you described, Blummer, able to score from second on that one.
Well, I mentioned how fast this field plays, so that ball was hit well and got to the right fielder quick. But I guarantee you, George Springer, standing at second base, knew that Gary Pettis was going to be waving him. You didn't see any hesitation from Springer going around third.
Well, I think the one thing that would have been said in the clubhouse before the game tonight, how would you like to see this game start? Jump on top,
yes.
Get that offense going, and we're getting a nice picture of that. Valbuena has hit in 6 straight.
Speaking of nice pictures, we're going to leave that strike zone up for you during Valbuena's at bat, brought to you by MD Anderson. Let you peek in, see where the location are on some of these pitches, maybe see how Ruby's work and left-handed hitters.
De La Rosa, a guy who's given up a bunch of home runs this year, and a load to the right-handed bats. Of course, the Astros love to play by that long ball game.
It's a couple of Astros with bombs against De La Rosa. Carter has one, Castro has one, Correa has one, Rasmus also has one.
Valbuena 24 on his season. Lays off the off speed. Take a look at some of those long balls.
Yeah, speaking of bombs, even Carlos Gomez has got in on the action back when he was a Brewer off Ruby De La Rosa out there in Milwaukee. Good place to rake. There's Jason Castro, the Astro, going off the top into those Crawford boxes.
31 home runs allowed by De La Rosa, 20 to the left-handed bats. Three and 0 the count. You get off to a fast start. Sometimes it even loosens up the skip and you get that green light.
Judging by those first 3 pitches, I'm not sure.
And another pitch away, and by a fair margin. That'll load him up. Another thing you like to do is, if the other club, the club you're facing, commits an error, make them pay, and pay in a big way.
Yeah, we talk about giving the other team outs, and that's what the Diamondbacks are doing right now. As you look at Ruby De La Rosa's numbers on the season, talked about all those home runs he's given up. He's basically a 2-pitch pitcher for me. Fastball, slider. We did see a couple changeups to Valbuena right there, but throws hard, 94 to 96 miles an hour. Pull a string on that changeup very rarely, but likes going to that power slider around 86, 87 miles an hour.
And we've seen already that fastball up to 96 that you're talking about. So he's bringing it, but the bat's obviously keyed up early, and now a big opportunity for Chris Carter, who has 24 home runs and has lit it up recently. Hot shot into left field. That's a base hit. Rasmus around third, coming to the plate. The throw is high and offline, and the Astros on a 2-run single by Chris Carter now take a 3-0 lead in the first inning.
Fielder number 20, Preston.
Astro hitter's aggressive, and again a fastball that misses its spot. Ruby's having a tough time locating any of his pitches right now. The ones that are being left out over the plate are being smashed. Terrible throw coming in from left field, but Colby would have beat that throw anyways. Chevy key to the game tonight is brought to you by your Houston area Chevy dealers, and keep the rispy ball keep risping the ball. I apologize. We talked about it that last time in Seattle where they went 5 for 11 and off to a hot start now, 2 for 2.
Chris Carter's 64 RBIs now. This is a guy that was lost on the bench up until just the last week and a half. Preston Tucker gets a start against the right-hander. There's that changeup, that seldom thrown changeup, but thrown well.
Well, you've got a team that's aggressive on the fastball early. Why not mix it up?
Tucker has not been getting a lot of playing time recently. Did go 0 for 2 in Tuesday's game in Seattle. Little chopper on the right side. They'll get one out at first base, retiring Tucker. Other runners move up. Valbuena to third, Carter to second, and 2 outs now for Jason Castro, who has a shot to turn this into a very big first inning.
Catcher number 15, Jason Castro.
.212 that batting average for Jason, 11 dingers. We just saw some of the big home runs for the club, and Castro has had his share of those. It's the 9 spot on deck. Dallas Keuchel. We're playing National League Baseball tonight, and so,
which is incredibly odd and disappointing to me because of this fact right here. You're taking you're almost handcuffing the Astros, taking their RBI leader out of the game.
So you get right down to the final 3 games of the year. You do play meaningful baseball in September and now October, as it turns out on the schedule, and you play it National League style, where the Astros pitchers have not swung the bats all year long. There's the third wide one. And that's just the deck of cards you're dealt in this case.
Exactly. Nothing you can do about it. It's just the way the schedule pans out. But considering the Astros are in a situation where they need to be at full strength to go out there and try and either win a wild card, possible division if things really go crazy. But you'd like to have a little extra stick in that lineup. No offense, Dallas.
Well, Dallas may take offense. He's got 3 major league hits in 28 official at bats. That's a 107 batting average, and does have an RBI. Boy, how he'd love to get a couple more right here.
Oh, could you imagine? Contribute to his possible 20-game win season.
Takes the strike. One of those 3 hits coming this year. He's 1 for 3 with the bat. Had 2 hits in 20 at bats back in 2012. And now an 0-2 count.
I'll tell you what, if I'm Dallas, I'm turning around to Laz Diaz and saying, hey,
yeah,
I remember that strike zone when I'm out on that bump.
Please provide that one all night long.
Dallas could abuse that.
So it's an 0-2 count. And a little foul tip hung on to by Castillo, and that'll do it. The Astros send 9 to the plate in the first inning. There was 1 costly error and 3 huge runs. One unearned run against the Diamondbacks, and the Astros got a pile on tonight. That lineup for the Diamondbacks: A.J. Pollock, who's playing very well. He's the center fielder. Second baseman Phil Gosselin and Paul Goldschmidt follow. Goldschmidt, a Houstonian. Aaron Hill, Wellington Castillo, and Yasmani Tomas follow, and then the bottom 3: Chris Owings, Socrates Brito, and Ruby De La Rosa.
There he is. Dallas Keuchel, ace on the mound for the Houston Astros. Every time he's been out there, it's been a big win situation for him, and he's stepped up to the challenge. 19 wins on the season with that 2.47 ERA, barely in second place behind David Price. Tell you what I'm most impressed with is the innings pitched, the whip that he has right now, and the 213 strikeouts. Those are big numbers from a guy who's probably expected to be just a ground ball pitcher in the big leagues.
And I think, at least for me, I still think of Dallas as that ground ball pitcher, and I think that's what he does best. But he has turned into a guy picking up a lot of strikeouts. So he will get it started against A.J. Pollock. Look at those numbers: 314, 19 dingers. I've seen his name come up as kind of an also mentioned for the MVP this year, and he starts it with a base hit. So here come the Diamondbacks in the first inning.
AJ can go get it in the outfield too.
Second baseman, number 15.
Really can't overlook the Diamondbacks either. They've got a good young talent coming up through the ranks for them also. Just a couple of years removed from winning the National League West 2011.
Sure, you saw that first pitch from Keuchel up in the strike zone. And his last start, though it was a very good one, a lot of pitches up in the zone, and now he brings it down and gets ahead. Phil Gosselin at the plate. Gosselin, the second baseman. He's hit .298. Not a lot of power. 3 homers, 12 RBIs, limited action. And a strike on the inside edge. Laz Diaz with the call. Well, as Blummer was talking about, 213 strikeouts for Keuchel this year, career high. And the most strikeouts for an Astros left-hander in a single season, passing Mike Cuellar way back in 1967. Keuchel with that little step off firing over. Keuchel very tough to run on. It's not about a pickoff move to first base for Dallas. It's about that quick slide step to the plate. Not many teams even try to run. And there's a leg kick as soon as we talk about it. 1-2 the count.
This wouldn't be baseball if that didn't happen.
Yeah, it's always the key, isn't it? Mention it and it'll go the other way. 15-0 on the season at home for Dallas Keuchel. He's won 16 straight in Houston, but he's 4-8 on the road, and it's really one of those nights where you have the must-win scenario. Fly ball to right, shallow. Springer coming on hard and makes the play. 1 out, and it brings up the ever-dangerous Paul Goldschmidt.
Take a look at the defense for your Houston Astros. In the outfield, Preston Tucker, Colby Rasmus, and George Springer. Luis Valbuena at third, Carlos Correa at short, Jose Altuve, of course, at second base, and hard-hitting Chris Carter back out at first base with Jason Castro behind home plate.
Can't make a mistake on this guy, and sometimes even the good pitches get launched. 317 with 31 home runs, 107 RBIs. A couple of months ago might have been the favorite to be the MVP this year. It appears that Bryce Harper is the guy that will walk away with that award, but this is one heck of a player.
He's going to be in the conversation every year.
Taps at first, offering foul. 33rd start on the year for Dallas Keuchel. As you look at, native of the Woodlands, grew up in the Woodlands in Houston. Make that 26 quality starts for Keuchel in those 32 outings. 26 quality starts lead the American League. It's always tough to come up with a key for a pitcher, but I think one of the things for Dallas is keeping the ball down. Another thing, and maybe just as important or more, coming in, and it looks like he's focused on that right now.
Yeah, that pitch in makes that changeup that much better on the outside corner, but it also sets up that slider down and in. Sometimes you can work some swings and misses over the top on that slider down and in.
There's the change you mentioned, or, well, I guess it's a fastball at 89.
And that is perfectly located. It doesn't get much better than that.
Beautifully done. Yeah, if you're able to make that combination of pitches close on the inside edge, find that outside corner around the knees, likely setting up a very good night. It's a good offensive ballpark in Arizona. And I think with a couple of throws over to first base, we've maybe seen the season high in a game for Dallas. Keuchel, the first 19-game winner for the Astros since 2005, when Roy Oswalt went 20-12. There's your change. And a big strikeout, second out in the first inning. Goldschmidt heads back to the bench, and now the cleanup man, Aaron Hill, will stand in.
Dallas Keuchel, the ability to work the edges and get these pitches to fall off the table or break out in front of home plate where a hitter thinks he's got a chance to take a pass at it. You can see as soon as the swing starts, the ball starts to move out of the zone. It's tough to make that adjustment mid-swing.
Aaron Hill, veteran second baseman, playing at third tonight, and it was Hill's error in the top of the first inning that led to 3 runs, 2 of those earned by the Astros. Hill lines it foul. You go on and on about Dallas Keuchel, and so we will. 226 innings on the year, most by an Astros pitcher since, again, Roy Oswalt. That goes back to that 2005 season once again. Most innings by an Astros lefty since Mike Hampton in 1999. Ball and a strike on Hill. Numbers tailing off for Aaron Hill at this stage of his career, hitting .229, 6 homers. Saw a story where apparently Hill may have asked for a trade from the Diamondbacks, but getting a big start here in this one. For the Diamondbacks, it's not like the season's over. They are trying to make it a 500 year. Rasmus in right center makes the catch. That'll do it. Pollock with a base hit. He's stranded at first base. Keuchel through the first inning, leading 3-0. As the Astros sent 9 to the plate for A.J. Hinch in that first inning. Jose Altuve will lead it off. The Astros had 3 hits. They picked up a couple of walks in that first inning. There was one very costly error committed by the D-backs, and the Astros taking advantage. And I think that's really a key, because all teams get opportunities. Can you take advantage?
Yeah, but we talked in the open about how well these guys are playing. As you look at that score in the bottom left, tied up 1-1 in the top of the 7th between the Rangers and Angels, but the bats have been going good, and like you said, the opportunity presented itself, and they dealt with it in the right way.
Yeah. That's an intriguing game, with the Rangers having won last night's game over the Angels, leaving the Angels a game back of Houston. The Minnesota Twins also a game back of the Astros. As Altuve grounds one to short. Owings with the play, and out number 1 here in the second inning.
Right fielder, George Springer.
Looking for that perfect location for your special event? Minute Maid Park provides an elegant space. Call 713-259-8800 or go to astros.com/special events.
Waiting for effect.
Yeah, pause.
George Springer was the guy that hit that ground ball to third base, turned into an error by Aaron Hill. A very tough play on a sharply hit ground ball. So yeah, back to what we're talking about. The Astros with a record of 84-75. Keep in mind, those, either way you want to look at it, it's going to add up to 162 in the end. But the Astros 75 losses. The Minnesota Twins have 76 losses, and the Angels at 76. Springer hammers one to center field, back at the wall. This one is out of here. Big home run, George Springer. His 16th of the year, and the Astros add to that lead. Now 4-0 here in the second.
My goodness. There's some baseballs that get hit well, and then there's some that just get absolutely annihilated. This is just a hanging cement mixer at the bottom of the zone, and George Springer absolutely lays into this one. That is not a cheap shot by any means. Woo.
Brings up Carlos Correa, who got jammed and picked up a base hit to right field in the first inning. Yeah, there's a happy young man, and you got to have a happy organization and fans when George gets it hot. Well, you and I have both talked about it, and for me, it's no secret. You get George Springer going along with Carlos Correa and some of the other talent on this ball club. You've got a chance to take off.
Oh, man. Yeah, Carlos has been a little tentative here of late, but still, I mean, it's, you know, even when these guys do get a little, you know, they're not doing what you hope they would do, they still can turn it around in a heartbeat. And you know, of course, we say that Carlos is starting off a little bit slow. He's already got a knock in this game. But what we all expect from guys like this are just, you know, at least a home run a night, maybe a fantastic play every now and then. But if you could get him and Springer going after it, and then add in Chris Carter, even Gaddis has been swinging the bat well. My goodness.
Well, and then you throw in Colby Rasmus, who comes up with a big hit to drive in the first run. Two-run single by Chris Carter in that first inning, and he's been swinging it well.
And I'm only giggling because that's when you want to get those guys hot, is when they go into that playoff situation, and then it's got some damage to be done.
I think it makes you feel like giggling if you're an Astros fan when those guys get it going. George Springer had 7 hits over the 3 games in Seattle. One of those a home run. So stay hot right down the stretch. 3-2 now on Correa. Laz Diaz sounding off back behind the plate.
I don't know if you saw it, but Correa was actually calling for it multiple times before Laz gave it to him.
Off speed, picking up the strikeout. Correa swings through it. Correa thinks it's 3 outs, but he's going to have to sheepishly head back to that dugout. 2 outs for Colby Rasmus.
He's human.
Fielder Colby Rasmus.
Sometimes.
Yeah, not too often.
So I just mentioned it. Colby Rasmus came up with that first run-producing hit of the night as he gets the start in the cleanup spot. Carlos Gomez couldn't go tonight, and a lot of talk and the fact that Carlos, with that final throw to win that Wednesday night game in Seattle, came up hurting again. So Colby gets the start and takes advantage as the cleanup man. Rasmus has 57 ribbies.
You talk about intercostal and oblique type injuries, how they, you know, they kind of happen on the swing. But I think with that hose that Gomez threw out there the other night might have affected it a little bit, because he put a lot into that throw.
I actually can see it just as easily aggravated or created with the throw as much as swinging the bat. I mean, in recent years, decades, pitchers have come up with that injury a lot. Big swing by Rasmus. 3-2 the count. Colby Rasmus has fans everywhere, apparently.
Juice me up.
How about the handmade jersey, and how about the...
That's not handmade, is it?
Barely noticed.
Rasmus draws the 2-out walk. He's aboard for Luis Valbuena. And that's the 3rd walk already issued by De La Rosa.
Third baseman Luis Valbuena.
Valbuena drew a walk in that first inning. Score early and score often. How many times do you hear that in the clubhouse?
162 times a year.
Yeah. Fly ball to left, shallow and down the line, and a long run, not able to get there. Tomas, it's in for a base hit, and now Rasmus to the plate. The throw not in time. It's another run producer, a 5-0 Houston lead, as a little pop fly off the bat of Luis Valbuena drops down the left side. And this is scoring early and often.
Tell you what, that ball was up in the air for quite a while.
That it was.
Tomas out there in left field for the Diamondbacks. I think Valbuena kind of hit this and was a little annoyed with himself until he realized there might be an opportunity with Tomas carrying that piano down towards that line, trying to pick that ball up. When it kicks away, Colby Rasmus was on the move. This was all on his decision, too. He made the choice to go home, and a beautiful choice it was.
And that's the problem when you try to stick a bat in your lineup, a bat that doesn't produce much defense, and you're going to get found.
Well, you and I both know the baseball will find you on that field.
Yep. It's not a game you can hide for very long.
Man.
Chris Carter, 2-run single in the first inning. Quickly shooting one through the left side.
Ooh.
That could be the big swing to this point. That's debatable, but it was 1-0, and then Carter came up with that 2-run single to make it 3-0 in the first. Diamondbacks already with a right-hander, Josh Colemanter, throwing in their pen. Carter takes a strike. It's 1-2 on Chris.
Got a couple pitches to hit. Probably just waiting for that perfect one. If we were in a bigger ballpark that was had a little more humidity in it, like Seattle, he might have driven that one out. It's too easy here.
Yeah. Carter fouls it back. 46 pitches now, all ready for De La Rosa as he struggles through the first couple of frames. How about this Chris Carter guy? I think everybody had dispatched him there for a while, and he gets an opportunity and takes advantage.
You can put me in that boat. I had serious concerns, but I've said it a lot. It's not how you start, it's how you finish, and right now he's helping this Astro team finish off a great season.
A big 3-run home run in that win on Wednesday night in Seattle. And I don't think you can overstate how big that win was for the team.
Yeah.
You go 2-1 in the series and take the lead in that wild card chase, or you go 1-2 and leave yourself wondering, can you win on the road? That tied the game at 6 at the time, as the Astros were trailing 6-3, and it didn't feel good.
No, that was a 3-run deficit. Kazmir was getting beat around a little bit, and then Chris Carter stepped up and pummeled that ball into that bullpen of the Mariners, and I agree with you. That was a huge hit. In the first game of that series, he hit the go-ahead home run that won that ball game, 3-2.
Strike 3 called, outside edge, and then some. Carter down on strikes. That's 4 strikeouts for De La Rosa, but George Springer does a little tack-on job as he launches one to center. His 16th on the year, 5-0 Houston.
Gets back to work looking for his 20th win of the season. Jason Castro catching him, of course, today. Telling me before the game, he makes my job easy. Really excited for Keuchel to see how he competes today. And, of course, with the big lead here, A.J. Hinch was actually talking about if there's any scenario where he would maybe pull Keuchel earlier to preserve him for maybe a playoff start next week. And he said, well, it doesn't really matter how big of a lead you have at this ballpark. Someone that knows this ballpark a little bit well, he's seen a lot of crazy things happen here. So we'll see what happens here today, guys.
Yeah, Julia, and that phrase, keep on tacking on, you'll hear it all the time in the dugouts. So the Astros put 3 on the board in the first, 2 more in the second inning. They've already gone yard with George Springer. Good looking offense at the moment. Leading 5-0. Wellington Castillo chops one to third. And Valbuena with the play, first out in the second inning. First ground ball out recorded by Dallas Keuchel.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought. Would you take out Keuchel? I mean, what would the lead have to be? I'm not sure I'd take Keuchel out, to be honest with you. I want to win. And if he's giving me my best opportunity to win, I'm leaving him in.
Yeah, that big inning is always possible, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I would maybe a 14-run lead and go to the prevent defense. I don't know, but
so let's just say you're ahead in the 6 after 6. You're ahead 7-0. Is that enough?
No,
it's not enough for me.
No.
If you're
and Julia's right. In this ballpark that AJ's talking about, a couple of bombs can fly out of this place. But I'm leaving Keuchel in. I am going to ride the horse that has gotten us to this point.
Brandon Drury now is hitting for Tomas. Apparently Tomas must have come up hurting in left field. Certainly hurt the Diamondbacks. So Drury, the pinch hitter, has a 2-0 count.
Well, it's one of two things. Either he's hurt or it's for lack of hustle.
One of those.
And I hope it's, I mean, not that I hope a guy's hurt, but I just hate to see guys get taken out of games for lack of hustle, because that's the one thing you really don't have to work hard at. You just go.
2 balls and a strike.
There's a wicked googly right there.
I actually don't know what a wicked googly is. I know it comes, well.
Yeah, it's a cricket term, man.
Yeah, cricket.
Because that ball was smashed over his left shoulder quite a ways.
I actually don't like to hear the comparison with cricket, because cricket takes like, what, 3 days to play, right? In the air, foul down the right side. 2-2 the count. You know what you're talking about, though, the guys being sat because maybe they didn't be perceived to be giving their best effort. Wouldn't be the first guy here recently.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell you names, but I've seen a couple of other guys that have. One guy that was recently sent home. In fact,
what?
Yeah, and I'm trying to recall who that was
My
in the last couple of days.
In a game where you develop reputations rather quickly, that's not the one you want.
You know, I also saw that Hanley Ramirez, who had been the left fielder for the Boston Red Sox, had apparently had such an unsightly year in left field that he will no longer play out there. Not on his behalf, but the ball club says that's the way it's going to be.
That's not good.
Yeah, that's not good at all.
It's a pretty hefty paycheck, too, to take out of the lineup.
Ground ball to short. Sharply hit. Correa's there. And out number 2.
Pretty hot shot off of Drury's bat, but you see Carlos Correa positioning himself in front of that baseball, and old coach of mine, Perry Hill, who's now in Florida, would have been awfully happy with the way that Carlos Correa funneled that ball into his glove in the center of his chest and made a good strong throw.
Strike delivered and well spotted on Chris Owings. Yeah, I'm getting on Twitter. A couple of folks reminding me what I apparently have forgotten pretty strongly. The Tigers sent right-hander Bruce Rondon home. Lack of effort. And
do you realize how bad your effort has to be to get sent home?
And that's for a pitcher. How do you fail to hustle as a pitcher? You're not swinging the bat. I don't know. That's really ugly. But thanks, guys, for reminding me.
Wow. That gets me. If you're only as good as your last outing, that's not good.
You know, and if you can't hustle in this game, something's wrong. 2-2 the count. Owings hitting .232. He's played it short and second for the D-backs. Little chopper up that first base side, rolls foul. Keuchel on that very quickly.
That's how you hustle. Put your beard down and go.
Beard don't loaf.
Well, he's got that gold glove, and that's why. Make plays.
There's the gold glove.
In case you're wondering, Rawlings only makes those gloves with that gold label on it if you have won a gold glove.
2-2 pitch. Just missing down and away.
Great location again.
He's much sharper in my estimation tonight than his last start. And that last start, as we mentioned, a really good one. 7 innings of 2 hit ball, 1 run against him. while striking out 10. 2-on walk to Owings. First free pass from Keuchel. It brings up the 8-hitter, Socrates Brito, or Brito.
68, Socrates Brito.
Pretty cerebral player, Brito is.
Socrates.
Well played. Well played.
Yeah, I'm sure there are a few who might know where we're going with that one. Well, kicks away just a bit from Castro.
They're going to start throwing Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure lines at me.
Don't be dead.
That's good.
Jamie Romack now waiting on deck. That's the Ruby De La Rosa spot in the order. Socrates Brito chops it foul. Brito's hitting a cool .429. 21 at bats. Not too bad when you go 9 for 21 on your season. A couple of doubles and a triple. Again, chopped in front of the plate, and that's a fair ball. Castro fires on down for the out, and that'll do it for Brito in the second inning and for the Diamondbacks. They leave a man on the walk through 2. 5-0 Houston.
Diamondbacks. The most popular way to follow the action of Astros baseball is with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy live look-ins, highlights, replay reviews, scores, StatCast, live radio broadcasts, and more. Get the MLB.com at bat app now.
We've got some changes for the Diamondbacks. Drury, who came on as a pinch hitter, is now at third base. Aaron Hill, the third baseman, has moved to second base in place of Goslin, and Goslin moves into left field in place of Tomas. And you are up to date. Preston Tucker leads it off. He grounded out slowly to second base back in the first inning. Chops one again. It's a foul ball right there at the plate. There you go with your changes. So make those in those scorebooks at home. I know you got them. Preston Tucker hitting .245. 13 home runs for Preston. And a 1-2 count. Now you wonder in a game like this, you're talking about Dallas Keuchel and how long he might stay in the game depending on the score. At what point does Preston maybe get removed for Jake Marisnick defensively on tonight's game? We'll see. And it's not like Preston Tucker is bad defensively, but when you've got Jake Marisnick, it's hard to keep him on the bench with his skills. Count stays at 2-2 on Preston. That Rangers-Angels game still tied at 1 now in the 8th inning. Drive deep down the left side, but foul. Man, that looked like some power right-hand hitter just hit that thing. It's a little closer to the stroke that we saw quite a bit when Preston first came up to the club.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Just easy pop going the other way when he gets on top of it like that.
Staying flat and even down through the baseball a little bit more. Boy, he hit some line shots down in the left field corner when he first showed up. He's got it. It's in there. Line shot back up the middle. And that was a scalded dog heading for center.
Man, that'll make your heart stop as a pitcher, number one, but everybody else in the ballpark. This is an absolute rocket coming back up the box towards Ruby, right over his head.
You know, you see some line drives hit guys, but not like that.
Oh, that gives you a good idea how fast it happens.
Wow.
Whew. All right.
Leadoff single and a very wicked and dangerous line drive hit by Tucker. Nobody out for Jason Castro. Another guy with a walk. De La Rosa has walked 3 already. Timeout called at the plate. There's that Twins game, and that's a big one to watch. Minnesota Twins tied with the Angels, a game back of the Astros right now, and the Royals making life tough on the Twins. Paul Molitor and company have really surprised a load of people this year, and I'm sure a lot of people would say that of the Astros and A.J. Hinch.
Well, I think it's two teams in the Astros and Twins who are not modeling themselves after the Royals, but kind of following that lead of having a good core young group of guys that play hard together. It's paying off.
Pitch away on Castro, or rather a late called strike there, 1-1. Let's review most recent pitch. Okay.
Holy cow, Laz.
You know, it kind of looks like that final day of the season, doesn't it?
Laz knows better. These guys get memos on everything, and they know this is a big series for the Astros. They got to tighten that up.
2 balls and a strike.
I'll give you a baseball off the edge, but I'm not going to give you in the other box.
Castro was 1 for 4 in that Wednesday night win for the Astros against Seattle.
Ooh, that was close.
Yeah, you're right. I actually hadn't even considered there. Yeah, that makes you wonder a little bit. What can you take with a couple of strikes on you?
That's the worst part about it. Getting those 2-strike counts, all of a sudden you're defending a 24-inch plate.
Well, Castro offers on that pitch, maybe away.
– 3-1 count. Castro's probably looking for that fastball away. That's where Ruby's been pitching him, obviously.
Ruby's got that spot 6 to 8 inches pretty well perfected off the outside corner.
Hitters now have to step on home plate to hit it.
Three and 2 on Jason. Tucker does not go as the pitch is fouled down the left side. Now, we were talking about the home runs and big swings by guys. Jason Castro has a couple of walk-off winners this year. Big fly addition. Has 3 of those on his career. Runner goes. The pitch is fouled.
Good change up from De La Rosa, but spoiler swing by Castro.
Matt Stites is loosening in the pen now for Arizona. That's down the left side. The Astros are down in the right field corner. Again, Tucker on the move. Pitch is officially outside. 4th walk now issued by De La Rosa. Third base momentarily left open. That'll put runners at first and second. Dallas Keuchel comes to the plate. But it also brings out Mike Harkey, the pitching coach for the Diamondbacks.
So Jason Castro walked twice and won it back. That's tough to do.
Is there a scoring means to take care of that?
Yeah, he's had 2 at bats, 3 walks.
2 plate appearances. Don't get caught up into what's going on at home plate, okay?
There's nothing going on right now. There's a hefty talking going on to De La Rosa right now.
Mike Harkey is apparently laying down the law right now. And the Diamondbacks know it's a very big series for the Astros, but they don't need that motivation when you talk to them right now. It's about them trying to get to 81 wins, having a 500 season. There's a lot of pride in not playing under 500 for a team. Keuchel with that opportunity to try to lay down a bunt.
You're going to make him bunt with a 5-run lead?
Guy with a batting average on his career over 100.
Yeah, he's hitting 250 on the season. No, he better be laying down a bunt.
Corners drawn way in on Dallas. And it makes it tough to lay down a bunt. They've got a wheel play on defensively where the shortstop sprints toward third.
Oh, that would have been a good time for a little slash. And I don't mean Guns N' Roses.
I don't think they get along anymore, do they?
Not sure.
Slash been doing his own thing for a while?
Should be. Good look at the defense. Both those corners playing well in, expecting the bunt. Dallas didn't show it. Will right now.
Turns to bunt, drops one, and lays it down very nicely. Drury with the play on to first base. So a sacrifice bunt, runners at second and third with 1 out. And the Astros now have the top of the order coming to the plate, a chance to pick up some more and extend this already 5-0 lead.
Good baseball. Good pitch to bunt. See that good early bounce. There's nothing Dallas can't do.
That's sacrifice number 6 on the career of Dallas Keuchel. Had 5 back in 2012. Infield draws in. Jose Altuve looking for that first knock of the night. He has struck out looking and grounded out. Almost takes one in the shin.
Finally found a pitch Altuve can't swing at.
Don't be too sure. 69 pitches by De La Rosa.
Yeah, the Astros have really put it on Ruby. He does not have good career numbers. He's 0-1 with an 8.10 ERA coming into this game against the Astros.
Altuve at 194 hits, needs 6 to get to 200. Now look, it's about winning these games and getting into postseason play, but individuals want to get their numbers as well. You know, Jose would love to get to 200. Jose tied at the start of play today with Xander Bogaerts, the fine shortstop for the Boston Red Sox, at 194 hits. 1-2 now.
Guessing slider. Altuve was, not me.
And I wonder if that's what he was looking for in that first at bat when he was caught looking on almost the same pitch.
Because it's not like Altuve can't hit anybody's fastball. He can turn around the best fastball in the league. But when you see a good hitter like Altuve take a pitch like that in this situation, it tells me he was looking for that slider.
Slider hit in the air and deep into right center field, deep enough at least to be able to pick up a run. Throw comes to the plate, not nearly in time. Preston Tucker able to tag and score. Sac fly Altuve. 6-0 Houston. But holding at second base was Jason Castro despite that throw coming to the plate. George Springer already doing some big things with a home run, his 16th tonight.
Well, we literally saw him carry a ball club last season, and it started in Seattle last year when he went then going through Kansas City. But this road trip starting in Seattle, you can see the hot bat getting going again with that bomb to right center field, double right center field. He's had a couple multi-hit games mixed in there. So with this bat coming alive at the right time, this is huge for the Houston Astros.
That's 63 RBIs for Altuve. Springer has a big swing, gets under it as he hits one to right center. Pollock makes the play. That'll do it for Houston, but they do tack on another run. And they leave a man through 2.5, 6-0 Houston. Been an upward line, that's for sure. Who is that handsome guy that is clean shaven there? 7th round pick in 2009, Major League debut in 2012. And the whip over 1.5. That tells you a lot of base runners. The ERA over 5 in 13. Not a whole lot better. That ERA at 5.15. The whip not where he'd like it. And then got much better last year. You'd have to try to talk with him and figure out exactly what went on. But Blummer, you see what he now is capable of accomplishing.
Yeah, there was expectation put on him after how well he pitched last year, and he has more than exceeded the expectation. He's pitched extremely well. You can see trailing in that ERA by .02, and I think if he finishes strong enough like we expect him to today, he can go ahead and write his name onto that Cy Young trophy. But how about the management realizing the talent was there for Dallas Keuchel and letting him go through those growing pains to get to the point to where he is now the Astros ace?
You know, I think back to spring training last year, 2014, and heading toward the end of the spring, Dallas wasn't certain what his role was going to be, and even if he was going to make the club. And so he got the opportunity that you're talking about and has ridden it really hard since, as the line shot is down the right field side, a fair ball down in the corner off the bat of the pinch hitter Jamie Romack. He's into second base, leadoff double, and hit number 2 by the Diamondbacks.
I know he struggled on the road, but he has pitched well in some situations within the division against the Oakland A's. Did real well. Then on a big spotlight, this is what Astro fans want to see, just in case it does happen. Dallas Keuchel going 7 strong in Yankee Stadium against another division rival with the Angels. 6 innings, no earned runs. There were 3 given up, a couple errors behind him. But still a guy that battles on a daily basis every time he goes out there and pitches on the road. The Astros are 6-8 in those road games that he has pitched this year.
And now the top of the order for a very good offensive team, the Arizona Diamondbacks. On that offensive side of the game, they are among the leaders in the National League, and for very good reason. Diamondbacks have hit .264. That's 3rd best in the league. They're 7th in home runs, 2nd in runs scored. They have had their struggles on the mound, and that's primarily why they're not one of the contenders right now. Yeah, the Angels now leading in the top of the 9th inning, 2-1 over the Rangers. Not sure, how do you want to root in that series?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you for sure want a playoff spot. So
look, if you still have your mind focused on winning the division, the only way to win it is win out for the Astros and see the Rangers drop 3 straight to the Angels. The Astros would then be tied with the Rangers and have to go up on Monday to Arlington and play that one off. That would still leave the Astros in a spot to be the wild card. And the Angels would be out despite winning 3 straight over Texas. But that's a tough one. If you're rooting for the Angels to win 3 straight, you've got to win 3 straight yourself.
Well, and all you're looking for is a ticket to the dance. Dance being the playoffs. They just want to get in. I think that's the primary focus. On the banner in the outfield, it would look great to say AL Western Division champions, but at the same time, it would be nice to be wild card playoff contender also.
Yeah, and I think, though, if you spoke to every one of those guys in the dugout, and especially A.J. Hinch, he would say, nonetheless, you win the division, you don't have to play the 1-game play-in. You have a shot to play a legitimate series, and you'd probably much rather take the shot there. But you're right.
Scheduling would be a lot better if you do win the division.
Line drive to second. They get the out, and the double play. Altuve sprints it to the bag and able to get Romack, who took too much of a lead on a line drive that was caught in the infield. And a double play empties the bases now for Dallas Keuchel.
Left fielder.
Dallas Keuchel's used to getting double plays, but just not like this. That was a terrible read at second base by Romack. This ball is hit on the line, but not that hard. And if you have any idea where the defense is playing, you know that's right at the second baseman Altuve. Again, fundamentals.
Tell me what the corner coaches tell every base runner constantly.
The first thing they say, freeze on the line drive.
Every time.
Unbelievable.
And it's amazing how often you see this happen. Phil Gosselin at the plate. Has an 0-2 count.
Welcome to a Dallas Keuchel cutter.
Altuve alertly moving into that baseball and sprinting to the bag. Just off the inside edge.
Got to look at how close that play was at second on Supermo, brought to you by Mattress Firm. Speedy Altuve with those quick feet just beat him.
And that hits the foot of Gosselin. So he's hit by a pitch. Comes with 2 outs and now brings up Paul Goldschmidt. And if you had your rathers throughout a night, you'd rather face Goldschmidt every time with nobody on base.
Goldschmidt.
I'll tell you what, Gosselin caught a break right there, hit in a 1-2 count.
Goldschmidt struck out against Keuchel in the first inning. That's the lone strikeout on Keuchel's slate right now. The Astros put 3 on the board in the first inning. RBI hit by Colby Rasmus. 2 runs driven in on a base hit by Chris Carter. They got a solo home run from George Springer in the second inning. And Luis Valbuena drove in a run with a little pop fly double down the left field side. And then 1 more run tacked on in the third inning. Preston Tucker hit a wicked liner for a hit. He eventually scored after a sac bunt and a sac fly. Two balls and a strike now on Goldschmidt. Yeah, we'll keep our eyes on that Angels-Rangers game for you. Drilled into right field. Goldschmidt hangs it out. 2-out single. Following the hit batter, runners at first and second now for the cleanup man, Aaron Hill.
Might have been lucky he only got a base hit out of this. This ball smoked. See where the location wants to be is inside on that little cutter, but it just kind of flattens out over the middle of the plate.
Well, he stays on the baseball really well.
Yeah, Goldschmidt for me is one of those guys who, from at bat to at bat, makes those adjustments.
He's also one of those guys, and I've watched him take batting practice, tries to do that rather than jack a bunch of home runs. He hits a lot of line drives to right into center. Hill fly to center to end the first inning.
When you talk about batting practice and how some guys take it, you know, Goldschmidt, perennial MVP type, goes the other way, really works on the swing going the other way. And Jeff Bagwell, for me, potential Hall of Famer, took the worst batting practice
Ugly as could be
ever seen in my life.
But it was all focused on right field.
It was all focused on just getting the ball, making it go to right field, and then he'd get in the game and just smash a couple.
I'll give you another name that is pretty darn good in Astros lore. Billy Doran used to take batting practices that were not very impressive. Buddy Bell was another one.
Really?
That same little kind of flare stuff to right field, and then the game would come and it would look entirely different. 2 balls and a strike on Hill.
And again, you don't want to be you don't want to make the 5 o'clock team. You want to make the 7 o'clock team.
That 5 o'clock team can be impressive, though.
Oh, it does. And there are guys that have been on rosters for that reason, just to destroy baseballs in front of the home fans.
And now 3-1. Catcher Wellington Castillo waits. Amazing. You get a couple of strikes on Gosselin after the double play lined into by Pollock, and you figure great chance to get out of the inning facing just 3, and then it just happens on you.
It's a self-inflicted wound.
Dangerous count on Aaron Hill. And that's lined down the left side, a fair ball into the corner. That'll score Gosselin easily. And now being waved to the plate is Goldschmidt. The throw in time, and they got him. Perfect relay by Correa. And a big run cut down. So that'll do it for the Diamondbacks. But that replay worked to perfection from Tucker to Correa and on to Jason Castro. Finally gets on the board on Dallas Keuchel, and watch this relay.
It was fundamentally sound. You can see how he was turned sideways, but he got a great feed from Preston Tucker, and I'm not going to wave anybody home when you know that the relay is going to come from a guy like Carlos Correa. He puts himself in good enough position to be able to get on top and throw that baseball as hard as he possibly can. And I still haven't met somebody that can outrun a baseball.
And Carlos Correa is also accurate, and we've seen it a couple of times on relay plays like this. Correa leads it off in the 4th inning as Josh Colmenter, the right-hander, now comes on to work, pitcher number 2 on the night for Arizona.
Colmenter's normally a starting pitcher for these Arizona Diamondbacks, coming out of the pen now, and
pitch is crushed to center field, back at the wall. That one gets out of here. Second home run of the night for the Astros. Number 22 on the year for the rookie shortstop Carlos Correa. And they get that run right back. It's 7-1 Houston.
And that home run is going to write Carlos Correa's name into the record books for the Houston Astros as a franchise. There's a happy Mohawk fan right there watching Carlos Correa hit his 22nd home run. Now that's a rookie record for home runs in the Astros organization.
You get the sense it's loose in that Astros dugout right now?
I'll tell you what. And good for them, too. Enjoy this thing. These guys are hitting the cover off the ball today.
So Colmenter comes out of the bullpen and immediately gets slammed by Correa. 22 home runs. He showed up in June.
Still played in less than 100 games, correct?
Let's see the exact number.
Keep asking you those questions when I have them right in front of me, too.
That's where you're supposed to do it. 18 home runs now allowed by Josh Colmenter.
97th game for Carlos Correa.
It's funny, he's had some very tentative swings in recent games. But the thing you quickly pick up on Correa, you have to be patient a little bit, is he's going to come out of it any funk he gets in. And he comes out with a vengeance. Line shot to right field. Over to make the play, Brito. That's the first out as Colby Rasmus hits it hard. That's the first time they get Rasmus tonight.
Third baseman, Luis Valbuena.
That game now over in Arlington, Texas. 2-1. Angels win over the Texas Rangers. But let's look at beautiful things. Carlos Correa.
Pitch down the middle. That's what you want to do with it. Superb hitters are able to keep their head down on it and drive it out to center field. That was perfection.
Luis Valbuena at the plate. It's a really tough game, and even the very best players will go through their funks as Valbuena puts it on the ground. Goldschmidt with the play, and out number 2. But how quickly can you come out of the funks? A real key.
Yeah, keep those valleys shallow. When you got a skill set like Carlos Correa, he's not going to have too many of those.
First baseman, Chris Carter.
Correa, by the way, 2 for 3 on his night. With 2 outs, bases empty, Chris Carter comes to the plate. And do not undersell how big that first inning 2-run hit was by Chris Carter. Takes a change at the knees. 7 runs on 7 hits for Houston. A run on 4 hits. A couple of errors by the Diamondbacks. Game number 160. You know, if you could look into that crystal ball coming out of spring training and be informed that game number 160 was going to be extremely meaningful, boy, you'd take it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, every time.
It's been a rough road at times, but no promises that it'll ever be easy. There's your final again. Angels win 2-1 over the Rangers. So they've split the first 2 games of that series. And the Astros could find themselves 2 back of the Rangers after play tonight, but still some baseball to be played as Carter flies out. That'll do it. Carlos Correa does some launching here in the 4th inning. 7-1 Houston.
Astros season tickets are on sale now. Guarantee your seats for a potential 2015 postseason run by reserving your 2016 season tickets today. Visit Astros.com/season tickets or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. We welcome back to Chase Field, a ballpark that is known for its food. You know you've seen it on social media. If you get a chance, stop by the Taste of Chase and get a Sonoran dog. Check this beauty out. Ranch-style beans in there, pico, drizzled with mayo, and the hot dog is wrapped and bacon. Do I need to say anything else, guys? You know you're jealous. I'm going to try it.
Julia, I think you've already said a little too much. That looks great. But you know what looks even better right now? The scoreboard.
Ooh, yeah.
7-1 Houston as line shot is hung out by Wellington Castillo. Leadoff single in the 4th inning. Diamondbacks starting to get to Dallas Keuchel.
Third baseman, Brandon.
That's 5 Arizona hits against Keuchel, but just 1 run on the board, and you can go back and thank the guys on that relay from the ball in left field, cutting down Paul Goldschmidt at the plate, Preston Tucker, Carlos Correa, and Jason Castro with a perfectly executed relay. Brandon Drury at the plate. Came on for Yasmani Tomas in just the 2nd inning. Drury 0 for 1 on his night. Keuchel falls behind 2-0. Drury hitting .231. He's played in just 19 games, but has hit a couple of home runs and 3 doubles. Grounds 1 to short. Can they get 2? Correa, Altuve, and Carter. And they get the double play. Second one turned by the Astros tonight. The first on a ground ball.
That's what Keuchel does, huh?
Yeah, that combo around the bag there could be together a long time. That's a beautiful sight.
Well, how about just I guess the triplets? Keuchel, Correa, and Altuve could be doing this for a very long time for the Houston Astros.
Two outs, bases empty now for Chris Owings. He drew a walk in the 2nd. Keuchel has walked 1. He's hit a batter. And that hit batter with 2 outs and the bases empty in the 3rd inning came around to score that only Diamondbacks run tonight. Ball and a strike. By the way, in that Angels win over the Texas Rangers in the 9th inning was Albert Pujols picking up a base hit after Mike Trout had tripled to start the inning. So the big guys come through for the Angels. And we've got another one final now. The Twins have been defeated by Kansas City, and that gives them 2 more losses at the moment than the Astros. Of course, the Astros have got to complete the deal here this evening. Let's run through those numbers just one more time, which means we'll do it many more times. Down on strikes, Keuchel picks up his 2nd strikeout of the night. We'll do that as we come back. We've played 4, and it's 7-1 Houston. I'll let Blummer explain exactly what's going on as we look at the team's account right now for the Astros.
The Astros have more wins. They're tied, obviously, with the Angels game being over. But they just need to win out. Worry about all that business later. Because if they take care of their own business, it doesn't matter what everybody else does because of that game they have on the Angels. But it's nice to see the Twins get pushed down a little bit. This score stays the way it does. The Twins will be 2 behind. Angels will be a game behind. Yankees, they're trying to figure out if they can even play a ball game before the end of the season. It's tough up there right now with the weather they have.
Yeah, they got rained out today, and they've got 3 games still to play. But any way you want to look at it, and I guess I grew up with a lot of people saying, look at the loss column, because nothing's going to change on either side. But if the Astros at 75 losses don't lose, those teams cannot catch them. Of course, that's true of the Texas Rangers as well at 73 losses. Justin Tucker having a good swing, fouls one back. Tucker just annihilated a baseball with a base hit to center field in the 3rd inning. That after launching one down the left field side, foul. If you weren't looking at home plate and seeing Tucker swing it from the left side, it looked like a power right-hand hitter had just yanked one down there. Ground ball on the right side, shift on. That leaves the shortstop Owings with the play, and out number 1. Oh, that's actually the 3rd baseman. So it's a 5-3 play as the Diamondbacks shift the 3rd baseman around to that right side. And Jason Castro, the 8-hitter, comes to the plate. A reminder, we are playing National League style baseball. Dallas Keuchel waits on deck. Colementor with that over-the-top delivery brings probably a very deceptive changeup.
Yeah, changeup is a great pitch for Colementor. His fastball comes in there 86 to 88, but really pulls a string on that changeup. Also, you see that big 12-6 breaking ball from that high reaching position.
What a game by Angels pitching tonight. Jared Weaver started, went 6 innings, allowing 2 hits and 1 run. Just 3 hits allowed to the Texas Rangers bats tonight. Very impressive.
In Arlington, that's tough to do.
That is very tough to do. They had 47,000 plus on hand in Arlington.
They finally got the message out there.
They got it.
Good for them.
Castro gets jammed. Once again, the 3rd baseman will make the play. 5-3, 2nd out of the inning. It brings up Dallas Keuchel.
Pitcher, Dallas Keuchel.
How about the range on Drury?
All the way from that 3rd base bag. He was drawn in, though, so don't give him too much credit.
He might be going for arbitration. Ball hog.
Keuchel is struck out and then laid down a sacrifice bunt that led to a run in the 3rd inning. Sacrifice bunt number 6 on Dallas's career. Sometimes pitchers get sent to the plate and told in a situation like this, don't swing it.
It's not a bad idea right here.
And I wonder if that's not the case right here for Dallas. 2 outs, nobody on base. Don't hurt yourself. Now he gets a chance to swing it.
pretty good matchup. Colementor might throw something into the bat speed of Keuchel.
You're implying off speed?
Keuchel has slow bat. Yeah.
Is that breaking ball right over the top? Keuchel down on strike, second time tonight. That's 5 strikeouts of Houston hitters. But to the bottom of the 5th, 7-1 Houston. Presented by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Used to be the Bob here in Arizona, now Chase Field. First of 3, and the Astros lead at 7-1 as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning.
Oh, good sign.
Oh, that is good. That's good. And that's worth talking about. How much does tonight's game mean to Dallas Keuchel? Obviously for the Astros it's huge, so we're acknowledging that. For Dallas Keuchel, a chance to win number 20 and win this kind of game down the stretch. How far might that propel him toward that Cy Young award? As the chopper goes right side, Brito down the line, runs well, and they just do get him. Very close.
That was extremely close. This one will probably get a good looking at in that Diamondback dugout. Chip Hale, the Arizona Diamondbacks manager, standing on that top step, looking into his dugout to see what the call is. We'll take a look for ourselves. You make the call. Chris really didn't go out there and go get that baseball, but I think ooh, man, it's got to be enough to overturn it.
That's going to be a tough one to overturn. I'm sitting here granting that. Yeah, they're going to take their look at this one. What do you think? I mean, did you see enough that you can overturn that one?
No, again, and it depends on the interpretation of when that ball is in the glove. And I think that they have noted that it will be in the back of the glove of Chris Carter. And you watch the glove. I think it does beat Brito, even as close as that was. But again, like you said, I don't know if there's enough there for me to overturn that call.
That's one of those that if the call had gone the other way, I would say the same thing. I don't know that you can overturn it. Heard some people say that there's no such thing as a tie. I say nonsense.
As many plays as there are at first base, there's going to be some ties.
Yep.
Getting some mixed reviews here at Chase Field from the big board. Here we get another look at it. It's a good job of the guys getting good angles for us and slowing it down.
Where's the stretch?
See the glove collapsing around the ball before that step.
You know, if Carter goes out there with a stretch.
Well, and I will defend Chris Carter. It's tough. You're already there. It's a quick, short flip.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you want a little more aggressiveness going through the throw to make sure that the umpire makes the correct call.
Dallas Keuchel gets in some warm-up tosses as they continue that review in New York.
And again, what we see, we found out, isn't always what is seen in New York.
Apparently so. We had a call recently that
the play with Correa at second base.
Yes, that's the one.
Oh my goodness!
Just defied logic. And then we thought it had to go in favor of the Astros. It went the other way. So it's an out down at first base. So again, it's just one that I assume that as we get the email, we always get it. It'll just say. Confirmed. What is the term they use?
Nothing, and there was nothing to
overturn
it or change their minds about it.
So a big first out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Brito out 4-3, and now it brings up Pete O'Brien, who pinch hits now. He's played in just 6 games, 4 at bats for the Diamondbacks.
There were some coaches for the Arizona Diamondbacks talking about Pete's prodigious power. Put on a pretty good display in BP.
Looks like a big young man. So the Twins have lost. The Rangers have lost to the Angels. And of course, that's crucial. Angels skipper, or rather the Diamondbacks, has done a nice job. bomb to left center field. This one's not coming back at all.
I hate it.
There's that prodigious power you're talking about, Blummer.
See the location on that pitch. Usually some of these youngsters that come up will tee off on pitches out over the plate, guessing a little bit, looking for that location down and away, and that's pretty much right down the middle, center cut up, and Dallas Keuchel knew it.
That's the first major league home run for Peter O'Brien, and based on that swing, I'm going to go out on a limb and say there might be some more to come.
But again, a solo home run.
7-2 now, and you're right.
That's if you're going to look at it in a positive way. He's the only run that scored.
That was rather massive. We've seen some long home runs. George Springer and Carlos Correa for the Astros. Fly ball to right. There's Springer. Drifting to the line. Second out of the inning. And it brings up Phil Gosselin.
Left field, Phil Gosselin.
33,218 on hand tonight. Starting to compete with the Oakland A's and that ability to count the beans quickly. By the way, Peter O'Brien, and we were talking about him, 6'4", 235 is what he's listed as, and that 235 looks pretty tight.
Well proportioned, 235.
Absolutely. Gosselin is flied out and hit by a pitch, scored that first Arizona run. It's nicely placed at the knees on a 2-0.
Well, it kind of goes back to what you were talking about Dallas Keuchel and what he has to do to be effective, and throwing those pitches that you just saw down in the zone are going to be good. Those ones that get left up are the ones that get beat around a little bit.
It's a good changeup. He's got a very good one. Keuchel, the first pitcher in Major League history, modern Major League history, to start a season 15-0 at home.
And it's kind of ridiculous when you think about what his home ballpark is.
Yeah. Short left field. Not exactly large to straightaway right field.
No, up and down. I mean, you talk to anybody in the major leagues, any hitter in the major leagues, where would you want to hit? I guarantee you Minute Maid Park would be at the top of some of those lists.
Intriguing comment. And next year that center field fence comes in.
Yep.
How will that impact things?
How do you
Very
call that a ball?
close, and that's called a ball after some of the strikes we've seen. Gosselin draws the 2-out walk.
No, we've seen an expansive edge on for Laz Diaz, and this pitch is just pitcher's pitch and a 3-2 count. Not getting the call.
I don't think Dallas agrees.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, people at home that know how to read lips understand who that comment was directed at.
Would you like to enlighten us?
It was come on, Laz, but I don't know if the come on part was quite right.
Paul Goldschmidt now comes to the plate. That's the second time Gosselin has reached with 2 outs without having to pick up a hit, and bringing up Paul Goldschmidt. What about the high strike?
Nope, not good enough. Got to get better.
We're going to go side to side. But not now. That's a must-win road game for Dallas Keuchel, trying to win his 5th on the road this year. All the numbers at home, just mind-boggling. 2-1 on Goldschmidt. His ERA at home leads the American League, and it's the lowest in the American League since Nolan Ryan back in 1972 with the Angels had an ERA of 1.07.
These numbers aren't real.
They don't seem like it, do they? And then consider that Bob Gibson did just about that over the course of a season. 2-2 on Goldschmidt.
Good pitch. Borderline, but gets the call.
Keuchel leads All-American League pitchers in WAR. It's up over the 7 mark. Ground ball to fly ball ratio, innings pitched, wins, and gets Goldschmidt on strike. Second time tonight. And that's not an easy feat. That'll do it for Arizona. They get a run on the solo home run by the pinch hitter Peter O'Brien. It's now a 7-2 Houston lead through 5.
The day, it's from Carlos Gomez, who isn't playing as of yet. Did not get the start today. So I'm going to be available Friday. There's no question I'm not playing 100%. The more important thing is to be there, do something positive, and help the team win. No doubt they miss his energy when he's on the field, but out with that intercostal strain. Of course, he started in that last game in Seattle, was excited to get back in there, but we saw him make that great throw to end the game. Also, guys, there was a swing and miss in his second at bat that also gave him discomfort. Of course, he tried to bunt with 2 strikes in that next at bat. We pretty much told AJ Hinch he was not feeling good, but wanted to stay in the game. AJ almost pinch hit for him at the time, but turns out Gomez making that big play at the end of the game. It all worked out perfectly. AJ said, I'm learning how to predict this game now. I'm getting pretty good at this.
Thank you, Julia. It's not a dance inhibitor, that's for sure.
How about AJ tooting his own horn? Jeez.
Why not?
He's done pretty good, I guess.
Alan Webster comes on to pitch for these Diamondbacks. Pitcher number 3 for Arizona tonight. He faces the top of the order. Altuve looking for that first knock. Takes a strike. Had a sac fly driving in a run. His 63rd RBI in the 3rd inning. The Astros put numbers on the board in each of the first 4 innings. 3, 2, 1, and 1. There you go. The hits per season for Altuve, and that figure last year just off the charts. Lummer, you see a year right around 200 hits as kind of maybe being the norm settling into for Altuve?
It's an excessive number. It's a big number, but he plays a lot of baseball games and he gets a lot of hits. So a lot of it has to do with health, and he is one of those guys that never wants out of the lineup. So to his credit, I think 200 should be his number.
Drills one to left field and deep, but going back and making the play is Goslin in left field. That ball hit very well by Altuve.
Right fielder George Springer.
Yeah, and when you really need hits, those kind of hurt when you hit it that hard. One out for Springer, who has reached on an error on a very sharply hit ball back in the 1st inning, led to an unearned run in the 1st. He's homered to center field his 16th, and then had a big swing as he flied out in the 3rd inning. Puts it on the ground to shortstop. Owings with the play. Out number 2 in the 6th inning.
Come get a behind-the-scenes look at Minute Maid Park. Learn all about the ballpark, visiting areas like the historic Union Station, luxury suites, the Diamond Club, and much more. For more information, visit astros.com/tours or call 713-259-8996 to schedule your tour today.
Here's Alan Webster. Again, that 3rd pitcher, 9th appearance. ERA over 5 in brief appearances. He's a 25-year-old out of Greensboro, North Carolina. Carlos Correa is a young man who's going to be, figures to be anyway, in the spotlight for a long time. Singleton scored in the first inning, then struck out in the second. Came back with a vengeance in the fourth inning, launching his 22nd to center field. 64 RBIs for the Astros rookie shortstop. Webster came up with the Red Sox a couple of years ago, pitched each of the last 2 seasons briefly in Boston. Three and two now on Carlos.
Pretty good pitch and a 3-1 count. Carlos being aggressive in that count, wanting to drive the ball, got a pretty good sinker.
And he draws the 2-out walk. Correa aboard for Colby Rasmus. Colby gets that start playing in center field with Carlos Gomez unable to go tonight. And Colby immediately responds with an RBI single in the first inning. That was the first run of the night for Houston. The Astros have hit a pair of home runs, have not stolen a base.
How about the interchangeable parts A.J. Hinch has to work with too? That outfield, we talked about how many guys, how many center fielders they actually have in that rotation they have going in the outfield. And it's a testament to the rest of the ball club the entire year, the way they've been able to not rely on one particular guy to carry them throughout the season. 11 Astros with 10+ home runs.
All-time record, and they've got a couple of other guys in position to make it happen.
They're in a good ballpark to make that happen.
The Astros are trying to win their 85th tonight. I don't know what kind of predictions people had at the start of the year, but just have a feeling that's a pretty good number above what most people guessed.
It would be kind of fun to look back and see what, maybe a Fangraphs or, some of those websites that really try and calculate and project what they would have said the Astros would have had this year.
3-0 now on Colby as Luis Valbuena waits on deck. Gets the green light and pops it foul back to the seats. So Colby gets the green light on the 3-0. Correa on the move. It's a strike call on the outside corner. A bit of a delayed call there. So a stolen base for Carlos Correa.
How about Castillo, the catcher? He didn't even throw because he assumed this was ball 4.
Why would you assume that? Well, that's closer than some of the others we've seen.
Yeah, but still, Castillo, the only reason he did not throw is because he thought that was a ball.
You're right about that.
Well, here we go.
So now a 3-2 pitch. Hammered right center field. Back at the wall. This one is out of here. 2-run job by Colby Rasmus. And the Astros now with 9 on the board, lead it 9-2. Rasmus his 23rd.
Give the assist to Laz Diaz on that one. Otherwise, that would have been a walk. Runners at first and second, and Valbuena at the dish. Instead, it gives Colby Rasmus one more opportunity to lay into one. Down and away. That's a decent pitch, too, from Webster. He goes down and gets it. Crushes it into that pool area. Nice.
The Astros with 3 home runs tonight. They've come off the bats of George Springer, Carlos Correa, and Colby Rasmus, who just happened to be the 2, 3, and 4 hitters. Do those 2 runs give you enough comfort to possibly take Keuchel out early?
Well, he's
maybe get him 6 innings.
He's going to get that quality start. We know that for sure.
2-0 the count now on Valbuena.
It's asking a lot to take my Cy Young out of the game.
David Price with the Toronto Blue Jays, the other guy that's vying for that award. There's a drive right center field, back at the wall. This one is out of here. Back-to-back jobs here as Rasmus and Valbuena go deep against Webster, and it's a 10-2 Houston lead.
Looks like Crush City is traveling these days. It's a good sign. This Astros offense is making that question that much tougher. Now 10-2 on this bomb by Valbuena. Hanging fastball up out over the plate. We know Valbuena likes to pull the baseball. He gets out and around it. He yanks it in this altitude here in Arizona.
25 home runs for Luis Valbuena.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so and that was the number you called coming out of spring training, as I recall. Did you nail it on Colby Rasmus with 23?
You're not done yet. This guy's been hitting bombs at a pretty good rate too. And Chris Carter
had a huge 2-run single in the first inning. 1 for 3 on the night.
Just erase that little number there.
Well, tonight and 2 more games to play, and I've got the feeling right now that Carter's going to get the starts at first base.
I would imagine.
He's made an assault on that effort to get to 200. Offers on the slider. It's 2-2. Apparently the bats made the trip from Seattle on down here to Arizona.
If they clinch, are you going to get that haircut?
I've tried it. It doesn't work on me.
Are you serious?
Not at all.
You could do it. You could do it again. Everything looks good when you're winning.
So is that done by one of the guys in the clubhouse, like so many of the guys get the haircuts, or is that a designer do?
He might ask for that. I'm not sure. George is pretty adventurous.
Carter takes strike 3. Second time he goes down on strikes tonight. But back-to-back homers by Colby Rasmus and Luis Valbuena. A man aboard in the case of the home run by Rasmus. And 3 runs go on the board. Astros on top 10-2. Inning. Dallas Keuchel works it to the 4, 5, 6 spots for the Diamondbacks. And boy, how when the bats are hot, it can make life rather easy on the coaching staff. It's the 8th time, by the way, the Astros have gone back-to-back this year as Keuchel brings that breaking ball into what normally is a strike zone called high. Aaron Hill leads it off. 1 for 2 with a double. Also an RBI. Diamondbacks tried to send for another run in that 3rd inning. Paul Goldschmidt was waved to the plate, but the Astros executed a perfect relay play. Ground ball past the mound. Correa bobbles and now throws, and a little bit too late. Aaron Hill safe at the bag, and Correa commits an E6 here in the 6th inning.
Keuchel let that ball go by, and I really don't know what to say other than I thought Correa was in a pretty good position to field that ground ball. Maybe took a funky hop before it got to him, or he sat back a little too long. Almost made up for it with that arm. may have made up for it with that arm.
Looks like they're going to review this play. So A.J. Hinch not satisfied with the 10-2 lead and allowing Hill to reach to start the inning. Well, see enough there to change that one?
Well, I don't know if there's enough there to change it for me. We'd have to take a look at a couple more angles. But at the same time, how about sometimes a manager using a situation like this to protect his infielder? He might have a chance to take an error off the score sheet for Carlos Correa.
That's a really good point. And sometimes, and I think A.J. may have done this the other night in Seattle, using it to allow a pitcher to get loose in the bullpen.
You know, I mean, that's a different way you can manipulate this replay review to your advantage.
Carter is not stretching out on these throws.
I'm not sure, but that's pretty darn close right there. It's a lot closer than I thought it would be.
If Carter's able to get out and stretch on that play, I wonder if they might not be able to get the call.
Yeah, usually as a first baseman, your first job is to get to that bag, put your right foot, if you're a right-handed throwing first baseman, and put your right foot on the outside corner of that bag in the infield. And as soon as you recognize where that throw is going, stride towards where you think that throw is going to end up. And even though you're out there a little bit early, you can still adjust to the pick or catch it on the fly. So usually your intention is to step towards the baseball and get the baseball before the runner can hit that bag.
Well, they continue that review in New York, and it's another one of those extremely close. I don't know if you and I saw anything there where you could change it, but it was kind of in that bang range again.
It really was.
You got somebody on Twitter saying they're going to get Springer's haircut when the Astros clinch.
They could be looking at that too.
At the haircut? Yeah, they're going to stay with that safe call. Just not enough to overturn it. So Hill reaches E6 to start the 6th inning. Dallas Keuchel at 82 pitches. And I wonder, once he is able to get through this 6th inning, assuming he can do that.
I think I'm on the same page you are. Give him that quality start. Maybe throw less than or right around 90 pitches and get out of there.
This breaking ball is a strike. Wellington Castillo at the plate. Catcher for Arizona. 1 for 2 tonight. Singled in the 4th inning, but then doubled up on a ground ball hit by Brandon Drury. Could they get another one? Correa to Altuve. Not a perfect throw, and Altuve caught that without going to the backhand side. They do get the out at second base, but not exactly slick between the two guys. Out number 1, Castillo reaches on the fielder's choice.
I think Altuve's hollering at Correa saying, relax, kid, you're going to be just fine. Made an error on that previous play. This one kind of hesitated a little bit and yanked that throw. That was a good snag by Altuve right there to get that lead runner. But afterwards, you could kind of see, yeah, you handcuffed me, kid. Relax. We'll get him next time. Don't worry about it. I think that's a veteran move by Altuve.
As a second baseman, is it easy to get handcuffed on that kind of play?
Well, in a perfect world, you gather yourself behind the bag and anticipate the bad throw, react to the good throw. But once you've been with a guy for a while and he's been giving you perfect feeds like Correa has up to this point, you know, it happens.
You kind of get that glove set where you anticipate, and then it's hard to flip it back over backhand. Yeah, maybe the Astros fortunate to get that out. A couple of breaking balls, 1 a strike, 1 a ball here. Brandon Drury at the plate.
That was a good pitch.
The strike zone is beyond inconsistent. It's
when you see the location there, it's on that outside corner. I don't know what more you want. I could redraw the edges on that plate if you want me to.
It's hard to understand for me, and having been a catcher, and I used to have those nights where I thought, what is the issue with looking for a strike. And if it's not in that zone, you call it a ball. But otherwise,
well, there's the strike zone. That's the strike zone right now. That's what you're dealing with. He just threw it in that blind spot again we keep talking about.
Okay. That's some pretty strong art right there. Nice job blocking by Castro.
I'm surprised myself.
Kept the glove down beautifully. This is the way you do it. Both knees didn't go down, but one did, and the glove stayed down.
It's an easy pitch to keep it front either.
Well, it's not easy for Dallas Keuchel, but he's got a big lead. When that offense kicks in, it just changes everything probably for everybody, although at the moment it feels a little tight on the infield.
And infielders do have slumps.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, they may not get the ball every time to prove that fact, but infielders do get slumps.
For hitters, picking up a couple of hits will bring you out of it, hopefully. But defensively, is it just about making some plays that you've been scuffling with at that point?
Well, you know, the plays that he kicked around a little bit they're not hard hit ground balls, so the brain gets in the way sometimes. It's going to be a good backhand play or a play up the middle where he doesn't have to think about it. A hot smash where you just react, and that's when everything gets locked back in.
Is it fair to say that some of the in-between ground balls, the softer hit ones, can be tougher at times than the sharply hit ball?
Yeah, you can think your way into an error, believe it or not.
3-2 the count now on Drury. Pitch count now up to 92 for Dallas. Angels defeated Texas tonight, so they've split the first 2 games of their 4-game series. 47,000 plus in Arlington to watch that one. Hit to center field and hit well. Rasmus going back at the track and makes a fine running grab over the shoulder, and now able to get back in time, Castillo. But that's a great play in center field by Colby Rasmus.
Pretty impressive effort from Colby Rasmus. Getting some love from the boys back in the dugout. I'm sure Dallas Keuchel. But how about the fact Colby Rasmus didn't give up on this ball, just continued to run this one out, knowing this ballpark pretty well. 413 to deep right center. Just kept running. Right now the offense clicking, defense picking up Dallas Keuchel right there on a well hit ball.
Got 2 outs. Chris Owings at the plate.
You know what? Getting back to the strike zone mess, I'm not sure if we'll have time to talk about it, but one way to, I mean, there's no consequence for umpires. They get their reports, they get their reviews, but there's really no consequence. You don't get suspended or fined for having a bad strike zone or a bad day that day. But wouldn't it be great if they made those reports public?
See Eric Gregg.
That was an expansive edge of the zone he was working with in that one. Was that
postseason?
Yes.
Yeah. It wasn't, I don't think, limited to one game. I think it was a consistent effort.
It's like he got that strike call locked in and he couldn't resist. He just kept, starting the lawnmower with it. Maybe that'll be the next website. Somebody will just, maybe Pitch Effects will just start giving out reports.
I think
umpires.
You've already set the standard.
Yeah, but I'll draw them the strike zone. Oh, man.
Two pitch. Bat starts. They appeal to first. No swing. That's the crew chief, Jeff Nelson, down there first.
Good job by Castro, too.
That is. And another 3-2 count now for Dallas Keuchel, who's laboring here in the 6th inning. With the runner on the move, pitch foul down the right side. We love having all the fans back in Houston and all over the place, for that matter, with us on these late games, but very important games for the Astros. Now you play 155, 160 games, whatever. Great baseball. You put yourself in position, and then you've got to close it out by continuing right down the stretch. But well, the bats are making it much more pleasant this evening. Runner goes, pitch hammered to right field. Springer back at the edge of the track. He'll make the catch, and that'll do it. Keuchel gets through the 6th. No damage on the board. It's 10-2 Houston through 6.
Purchase tickets to potential 2015 Astros postseason games at Minute Maid Park. You won't want to miss the excitement of October baseball. Sign up at astros.com/postseason tickets. Well, when the Astros got ready for this road trip, which was 7 days, 6 games, they were told to pack for at least 12 days. Just so many unknown scenarios this was back before the road trip started, and just think about how many they have right now. So I asked some of the guys, how are you dealing with this? I know you don't want to think ahead, but there are a lot of things being talked about around you. And they said, of course we know what's going on. Of course we're sitting around talking about it every once in a while. When it's game time, it's game time. But it is a lot of fun to kind of watch, to see what everything else, or what everyone else is saying around you. And of course, guys, they have the big giant scoreboard where you can see the Rangers and Angels game go final, and the guys obviously paying a lot of attention.
As are we. Thanks, Julia. Hope that hot dog went down nicely. And the Astros having a great time, leading it 10-2. Got a couple of changes. Matt Stites comes on to pitch, and down at first base it's Jake Lamb. And who's that other one, Blummer?
No, I was just pointing out the fact that the Astros bullpen is up and moving, because the pitcher spot is coming up third. Possible that Dallas Keuchel will be out of this game in order to preserve him for some of those scenarios that Julia and some of the players were talking about.
Yeah, I think you're dead on, and I would imagine that Keuchel is done. Now let's keep in mind there are scenarios that would leave the Astros playing Monday night. Ground ball to the right side as Preston Tucker beats it going down the line. Little hustle and speed provides Preston Tucker a leadoff single. His second hit of the night in 4 at-bats. Aaron Hill playing on that outfield grass, just simply not able to make the play quickly enough. So there'll be a pinch runner. Jake Marisnick comes on, and it's an ideal scenario because Tucker was going to come out defensively anyway for Jake Marisnick, so they have the speed aboard. And this is a hit earned right here. Nobody out for Jason Castro. They have ruled that an E4. I'm not sure where the error took place.
The first base umpire, in motioning that he was safe, waved and said that the first baseman came off the bag to get the throw. There you go.
Okay. Well, so Tucker reaches on the E4. Castro lines one in left field. His first hit of the night. He's reached 3 times, walking twice. Couple of runners aboard, nobody out for the 9 spot, and Keuchel is officially done now as John Singleton grabs a bat and comes to the plate.
Pinch hitting for Dallas Keuchel, number 21, John Singleton.
Haven't seen a lot from John. There's your Matt Stites numbers. 11th outing, 7.5 ERA. Sometimes it's not kind in the major leagues. Big swing by John. It's just the 19th game of the year in the major leagues for Singleton. And he's hit 196, couple of doubles, and 1 home run. Ten runs on 10 hits for the Astros. 2 runs on 6 hits for Arizona. One and 2 now on Singleton. Came on the scene like gangbusters last year. Hit 13 home runs. Really swung it well initially, but then the struggle settled in. He hit 168 for the season. Struck out 134 times in just 200, or make that 310 at bats, 362 plate appearances. Marisnick at second, Castro at first. John gets a piece. Right-hander and left-hander up in the Astros pen. Dallas Keuchel done with his night, works 6 innings and allows the 2 runs. So Dallas in a great position to pick up win number 20. Keuchel starts the night, already the only 19-game winner in the American League. David Price, Felix Hernandez, and Colin McHugh, who works tomorrow night for the Astros, all at 18 wins.
Good things, good numbers.
Looks like Miguel Cabrera of the Tigers is in position to win a batting title.
Oh, hum. That's what he does.
Kind of is what he does, isn't it?
It's amazing.
Not the same power numbers this year. 17 home runs. He was injured good chunk of the season. Xander Bogaerts has given him a run, though. Pitch gets right on by Castillo to the backstop. Runners move up. And it's a walk.
Talked about how well the offense has been going. How about here in 2015 compared to that playoff team in 2005? This is coming into today's game. Runs per game above that 2005 team. Batting average a little bit less. On base percentage almost the same. Slugging, obviously this 2015 team likes to drive the ball out of the ballpark, but just kind of an interesting comparison to see what those playoff teams have done. And a lot of what 2005 involved was that starting rotation and back into the bullpen the Houston Astros had when they made that deep run into the playoffs. Clemens, Pettit, Oswalt, Lidge closing out games. There were some big names putting up some big numbers for that rotation to help that offense.
Altuve is shot now with the bases loaded, nobody out. Hitless on the night, but does have an RBI. Lines one to right. Coming in to make the play, Brito coming to the plate and scoring Marisnick. It'll be a sac fly, second on the night for Altuve, second RBI, as he now has 64 and 11-2 Astros on top.
Why didn't Brito try and throw out the runner at home plate?
I am absolutely with you.
He was charging in on a line drive, and I'm not saying he would have had the out at home plate, but
I agree 100%.
This might be a good look at it.
That's not deep, and he's charging.
And then threw the ball on the run to second. I don't know.
That almost makes me wonder if he was unaware there was a man at third base.
That's what, unless he looked up and felt he had a chance to get Castro at second, maybe? No, I'm not buying either.
That will not earn you a dinner from your pitcher, that's for sure.
Man. Yeah, but Altuve will take you out.
Gladly. 2 RBIs tonight on a hitless evening. George Springer trying to turn this one into a very big evening for himself. Little pop down the right field side, dropping, and a diving play, not able to come up with it. Brito, and this should be a base hit. George looking for his second hit of the night.
This most definitely got to be a base hit. Number 11 on the night for the Houston Astros, and they can do no wrong right now. Springer got blown up on this one, and like we always talk about, it's tough to read the swing and adjust to where that baseball is, because a big swing from Springer, you're already playing deep as it is, and then you got to make the adjustment and come flying in trying to make that catch.
You know, a little over a week ago, it felt like there was a period of time where nothing was going right for the Astros.
I couldn't agree more.
And right now it looks like, well, you could be in a real good spot. Carlos Correa now has the bases juiced. 1 out. Correa has a couple of hits and a walk, a stolen base. One of those hits a home run, his 22nd. And drills one foul as Castro just ducks for his life.
How did Castro get out of the way of this? This is that previous play with Brito coming in. I didn't realize it hit off the thumb of his glove. He was that close. But those are the breaks we're talking about that have been going the Astros' way here of late.
You know, if it's going to start that way, if this says you're going to start having things go your way, not a bad time of year to have it happen.
Well, they're putting together good at bats. They're not missing pitches up out over the plate. They're crushing them, putting pressure on the defense. Keep playing hard. That's what that's what happens.
Ball on strike on Correa. Never hurts to have a big night. 1-2.
I'm not sure what to say anymore. I got to readjust my strike zone. Yeah, Carlos is going, is that a major league strike zone there? Yep. Okay. Try and deal with it. This young man being very polite about it, diplomatic. But would much rather be in a 2-1 count with the bases juiced than 1-2.
I don't care if it's 11-2. You want to pick up those runs.
Well, you got to get greedy. Yeah, my goodness gracious.
Please leave everybody okay over there.
Those are Astro fans too. Come on, Carlos.
Everybody's safe. We've gotten the
oh man,
balls in the fairway signal.
Just keep an eye on those guys down there.
Man,
red alert.
That is just not fair for the fans. Count stays at 1-2 on Carlos. And again, he fouls it off. Something we see a lot with Carlos Correa. He gets a couple of strikes and lets the ball get deep, shoots the ball to right field, and he can hit it hard that way.
He really can, but that's a good attribute to have in a 2-strike count. Just keep fending off the tough pitches. Eventually, you hope that the pitcher makes a mistake and drive that one.
Hit into left center field. That's dropping for a hit. That's at least 2 runs as it goes all the way to the wall. It's going to be 3 runs and a triple for Carlos Correa. 4 RBIs on the night, 67 on the year for Correa. And this thing is wide open here in the inning. That's 4 runs. Correa at third base for Colby Rasmus. And it is now 14-2 Houston.
Well, that's what we talked about. Spoil a couple pitches on foul balls and then get the hanging slider and rake it into that left center field gap. Just start running. It's a good look at a large human being making a good run towards third base. Pretty impressive stuff from the Houston Astros offense tonight. That'll make that Keuchel decision that much easier, huh?
Decision made, and made very well.
Man.
So you're starting to get to that point where it feels pretty secure. It's always a funny thing about the game. On the other side, you feel like, oh, it's done. It's over. On the leading side, it's like, okay, let's be cautious about this.
I know.
Easy night for AJ, you would think. Carlos Correa, his first major league triple. So he's filling all the columns now.
Just needs that double.
Stites having a rough inning.
Kind of seems as if the Houston Astros are excited about playing baseball in October.
Yeah, a lot of the other teams played last night, October 1st. This is their first October game after a losing month of September, the only losing month all season. So Colby draws the walk. Second time he's gotten a free pass tonight. A couple of hits, one of those a home run. And the pitching coach, Mike Harkey, out there once again. That's an imposing pitching coach.
You are exactly right.
It's like having Charles Barkley go out to the mound every night.
Charles Barkley in a bad mood. Mike Harkey's got a tough job in this ball game right here.
Put a golf club in the hands of Charles Barkley, and then you've kind of got the mood all set up.
I was going to say, then you don't have to worry about getting hit by the golf club.
Not if you're standing in a straight line toward the target. Valbuena, a couple of hits, including his 25th home run. Also had a run producing double back in the second inning. 2 RBIs on the night, 56 on the year for Valbuena. Yeah, there are times when the game gets out of hand, but you still don't want to embarrass yourself. But Stites in his second major league season having one of those nights. Rush to center field. Pollock back. That's off the wall. Extra bases. Correa will score. Into third base is Colby Rasmus. And the hit parade going on here in the 7th inning. 15-2 Houston.
Went for the 2-point conversion after that second touchdown. The Astros hitters are not missing many pitches at all. A lot of loud noises here at the Snake Pit in Arizona.
So the Diamondbacks go to the bullpen. We break it right here. We'll be right back. We're in the 7th inning. Let's talk a little Chris Carter right about now, because he's earned a little love, I think, over the last week and a half or so.
Yeah, we know what he can do. We know the average is not going to be one of his strong suits, but we know that driving the baseball out of the ballpark is one. Up until August 26th, had 17 home runs in the last 17 games. Are Are you kidding me? 342, 947 slugging, 7 home runs since 2013. This is something to look at right here. Team leader in home runs, RBIs, slugging, walks, second in hits and runs.
So I said a week and a half.
How about that?
So let's go 2.5 weeks. I mean, he's extending this pretty good little span. It's 15-2, and it feels like one of those blowouts that you can actually have a laugher time down the stretch. But it got started with an RBI hit by Colby Rasmus in the first inning, and then a 2-run single by Chris Carter. And that's what kind of started to give you that early pad that oftentimes can get the bats alive. Enrique Burgos now, the right-hander on the hill for the Diamondbacks. From Panama, 24 years of age. Another run is going to come in on a wild pitch. Burgos brings the breaking ball in the dirt. It kicks away. It's 16-2, and into third base is Luis Valbuena.
Oh, rocking the Orbit sunglasses there. Nice. She's trying to count how many runs are in this game. Getting flustered.
Love that Robin Williams movie with the recall the name of it, but with the noses they wore for humor in the hospital. And two and two on Carter. And he's down on strikes. Third time tonight for Chris. And now the 10th hitter of the inning coming up. Jake Marisnick, who came on as a pinch runner after Preston Tucker reached on what was ruled an E4 to start the inning. So for Jake, his first plate appearance of the night.
Jake Marisnick.
The Astros hitters have struck out 7 times tonight. A night like tonight doesn't do a whole lot for that catcher's ERA.
Yeah, that's taking a beating right now.
Patch Adams was the name of that movie. Thanks to so many of our great fans. Just keeps coming in.
And he is excited you finally know about it. There you go.
Think he got the word?
I think he realized that red light came on the camera and got a little juiced about it. Stop it, Dad. You're embarrassing me.
And how do you feel about Mom? All about that base, though.
You ain't lying.
Jake gets jammed. It's 2-2.
Is that one on your playlist?
Not yet, but it will be. Just keep this momentum running, and I may make that my #1 song. What's been the key for you here tonight?
Not missing it.
Just hot bats?
Yeah, hot bats. Pitches being left up out over the plate and just getting crushed.
Hit to center field, dunking, and that's going to drop for Marisnick. RBI single. It goes to 17-2. And Jake Marisnick gets that shot to get an at bat and have it pay off.
Well, even when they're not ripping the cover off the baseball, they're getting hits. Just touch it.
14 hits and 17 runs. That's making it happen. Jason Castro picked up a base hit here earlier in the inning, his first of the night. My scorecard's starting to look like one of my scorecards.
I might be the only one that gets that. No, I'm heading down that road too.
Yeah, you're clean as can be over there. That's nice.
I'm trying like crazy, but I'm running out of red ink, and that's a good thing if I'm running out of red ink.
Red ink on our cards means hits and runs and RBIs. And when it's on that Astros side of the page, that is a lovely thing. 1-2 now on Castro. Castro's still trying to get that batter's box to his liking. Chops one on the right side. Handled by Lamb, the new first baseman. That'll do it. The Astros send 11 to the plate in the 7th inning. Yeah, they have all kinds of fun. They lead it 17-2.
Here as we head into the bottom of the 7th. Time now for the AT&T call to the bullpen. Dallas Keuchel pitched well, only giving up those 2 runs, while we look at Joe Thatcher, who is now in the ballgame, making his 43rd appearance. 21 2/3 innings pitched, 25 strikeouts, 6 games in September. Again, much like Chris Carter, we keep talking about it's how you finish, and lately Joe Thatcher's been getting it done.
Well, it comes on with a 17-2 lead. The Astros put 7 on the board in that 7th inning. And by the way, 15 runs have been the most scored by the Astros in any game this year. That in New York against the Yankees. Still a possibility. Is that a possibility? I'm trying to recall. Things are changing daily where the Astros would go into New York and play the Yankees. It is a possibility.
Yeah.
But the Astros took 2 out of 3 in New York earlier this year.
That was when Keuchel, we showed Keuchel pitching there earlier. I believe it was 7 innings of no-run baseball.
Anyway, the Astros scored 15.
Yeah, they were dropping bombs in that place too.
25th of August in New York. So a new season high with 17. 8-9-1 coming up for the Diamondbacks. Socrates, Brito.
He's got some things to ponder over after this game.
We have a bunch of changes for the Astros defensively. We'll get to it.
Now you're really trying to ruin my scorecard.
Mine may not even take on the changes.
Quitter.
So here's what it's going to look like right about now. Matt Duffy is at third base. Max Stassi behind the plate. Jonathan Viard short. John Singleton at first. Jake Marisnick, who's already been a star tonight, he's in center. Colby Rasmus moves to left. And so defensively, that goes along with George Springer still being in right field. Jose Altuve still biting the nails at second.
Get hungry in these long games.
Thanks to you, I did go in for a little pregame meal, and very appreciative right about now.
It's a good thing we did that.
Strike out of Brito to start the 7th.
Now at shortstop number 2, Jonathan Villar. And now catching number 12, Max Stassi. Pinch hitting for Enrique.
One of the things I've enjoyed watching now is Jared Saltalamacchia, the veteran backstop, now comes up as a pinch hitter. He's a switch hitter. But it's watching Max Stassi do his catching thing here when he's had his opportunities. Really like what I see. Hit into the gap in left center field. This is going to bed down and then kick into the seats. It's a 1-out pinch double for Jared Saltalamacchia.
How about what?
That's the third pinch hit in that spot in the order for the Diamondbacks tonight.
Just going to say the same thing.
Romack, O'Brien, and now Saltalamacchia. Oh.
Chip Hale started all the wrong guys.
So Saltalamacchia at second base for the leadoff man, A.J. Pollock.
If we went down there and asked AJ real politely if we could get an AB, he'd let us.
I don't think we'd have to be polite at all.
Just barge in there and say, give me a bat.
There's a broken bat on a ground ball to Duffy. He gets rid of the ball quickly to get the out. And out number 2 here in the 7th inning.
He's playing hot potato at third base.
That ball was a little heated right there, wasn't it?
Well, he got AJ Pollock running. He can run, but that bat absolutely annihilated. Did you see the quick feet?
Very accurate throw.
It reminded me of Vinny Castilla.
Yes.
He would get ground balls and flip them over there leisurely as quick as anybody I've ever seen, and it would always be a bang-bang play.
He was a good third baseman. I'm sitting pretty close to a guy who was an awfully good third baseman as well. Little tapper goes foul off the bat of Phil Gosselin.
Still looking.
Oh, it's Bob over here.
Yeah, Bob was legit.
Jeff Blum could play it. And it didn't matter what color the hair was.
Thank goodness, right? Some pretty good moments in that platinum stuff.
What were they called? Blondies?
Blum's Blondes.
Blum's Blondes?
That's a whole show in itself right there.
One hopper hit to Altuve. Bit of a shift on. They get the out, and that'll do it. A 1-out double. He's stranded. We played 7. It's 17-2 Houston.
Your birthday the Astros way. Surround yourself with the excitement of cheering on the Houston Astros while throwing a birthday party at Minute Maid Park. For more information, visit Astros.com or call 713-259-8996. We talk to guys a lot when they go back to a team that they've played for at times. What is it like when you walk into the visiting clubhouse for the first time? And we had to ask A.J. Hinch that today as he makes his return to Chase Field for the first time since being a manager here back in 2009 and 2010. Those parts of 2 seasons not going the way that he would have liked. Obviously fired mid-season then. Chip Hale was a part of his staff during that time. But for him to come, it's full circle for him to come back here and be in these meaningful games trying to beat the D-backs today and this weekend as they look to go into the postseason. But Phoenix, very special to him. His family's around here. Spent 10 to 12 years here, not just as manager, but of course in the front office as well. So lots of friendly, familiar faces. Not all bad memories for AJ in Arizona, guys.
Thank you, Julia. Yeah, he actually seemed rather comfortable talking about all that.
He's had some time to reflect, and it was an interesting time while he was here in Arizona.
I think he feels like he really grew from the experience. He was a 35-year-old manager. John Singleton stands in. Singleton drew a walk and scored run number 13 for Houston tonight. I think that would really be a challenge to be 35 and be a manager in the major leagues.
Man, you ain't lying. Talk about being a relatively young man and trying to control some major league attitudes. That would be real tough.
Right-hander A.J. Keuchel now on pitching for Arizona. And then especially if your team doesn't perform well. Dallas Keuchel in a position to win his 20th. with the 6 innings and 2 earnings against him tonight. ERA at 2.48. That's 3/100ths of a run higher than David Price has with the Toronto Blue Jays. So Price in a position to win the ERA crown. Okay, that's settled. Which one of the two wins the Cy Young Award? Yet to be settled. But Dallas Keuchel has had the stronger season from day 1 to day 160 anyway.
Yes.
Price wins 18.
Keuchel
He's had a great year.
2 more wins. Yeah.
This is not a slight of one of the game's great pitchers in David Price. Keuchel leads in WHIP, at least coming into today. Opponent's batting average, opponent's slugging, opponent OPS, and then the average game score, which a lot of people may not be familiar with, but that game score gets put up there every time a guy starts a game. And so Dallas is #1 there. Leadoff walk as John Singleton heads down to first.
Yeah, he's virtually top 10 or top 3 in every major category in pitching.
Keuchel leads in that adjusted ERA. There you go on Dallas Keuchel.
And that's before tonight started. Obviously that .02 turns into a .03 tonight. But
starter in the All-Star game too, and I think that's big.
Big 2 innings in the All-Star game. You are correct. Yeah, those are the big numbers that everybody's looking at. Even your traditionalists are going to look at those numbers and say he had a great year, as opposed, I don't know, they're going to agree with the sabermetric people.
So anyway, there's a lot on the side for Dallas Keuchel that says he's your top pitcher on the year in the American League. And we'll see what the voters think. I guess that happens following the World Series, where we find out all of that, right?
It's right around that time, yeah.
Well, hopefully the Astros can play it out that far. First things first, they've got to get in. And that dance ticket can be really hard to come up with. The Astros are in a good spot right now. Believe it or not, on a night like this, Altuve is still looking for his first hit. A couple of sac flies, 2 RBIs, 64 on the year for Jose. Little looper, that's a base hit down the right field line. Singleton will be waved to third, into second base Altuve. So he gets himself a double as he breaks his bat. A couple of sac flies, a double. You look at the numbers, looks like a pretty nice night for Jose Altuve.
It really does. And he went in and changed bats before this at bat. Now he's just going to get rid of that bat. This one goes down a hero with the knock just over the glove of Lamb at first base.
Altuve now will come out for a pinch runner.
Am I the only one disappointed that VR's, I mean, not that VR's in, but that Carlos Correa wasn't able to stay in and get that double maybe for the cycle?
No, I don't think you are the only one. George Springer's going to get a shot at another hit, but Marwin Gonzalez is the pinch runner at second base. Marwin continues to be bothered by the combination of the sore thumb and wrist, and it affects him against right-hand pitching while he bats left-handed. Yeah, we're reminded that Dallas Keuchel, along with all those other numbers, 3 times the pitcher of the month in the American League this year. That's Gene Diaz, who alertly points out all those omissions for us, and we appreciate it, Gene.
It's tough to remember everything Dallas has done right this year. That's another one. That's pretty good.
But I think we went through quite a list there.
Yeah, we did.
And it's not like you're just sitting here saying, well, I felt like he was better. You're looking at a lot of numbers that carry a lot of weight. 1 and 2 on George Springer. George has a couple of hits, a home run back in the 2nd inning, a single in the 7th inning. Little check swing, ground ball. And they will not get the out as the throw goes down the right field side. Springer's upended. Scoring is Singleton. That makes it 18-2. Marwin into third base, and we'll see how this is ruled. And in my book, that should be a single. I don't know. How are you going to rule that one, Blum?
That's a yeah.
E1 all the way?
E1.
That's a really tough play for a pitcher, by the way.
I was going to say, yeah, just the location of the play makes this a tough play. Because I don't believe that Springer would have beat this out, but we get a chance to look at it again. That's just a tough play. And
well, look at the position that the pitcher finds himself in, trying to get a throw down the first base line.
His momentum's going to take him into the baseline, and that puts George Springer in the way of that throw. But I'm incredibly thankful that George Springer is back up on his feet and at first base, not grabbing something.
Yeah, to me, that's a really tough play.
No, to me, that's a pitcher trying to be athletic,
which can be a mistake.
Yeah, it doesn't always work out.
Yeah, thank goodness for George Springer.
He spent more time on his
coming up healthy
today than man.
So Singleton has scored a run. 18-2. By the way, the Diamondbacks with 4 errors on the night. Jonathan VR. It's his first plate appearance of the night. Waiting on deck is Colby Rasmus. Still nobody out here in the inning. No RBI on that play for the score right now for Springer. E1 all the way. And there would not be a, well, let's see, Singleton at third base. Would you not get an RBI on that play, or was he holding at the bag?
I don't know.
I didn't see, with a 17-2 lead at the time, I wasn't watching the lead runner.
Well, you just assume he's going to take off on that ball.
You? And if he was moving at all, that has to be an RBI. VR has the feet shuffling as he takes a strike. Brian McTaggart says the club record, the Astros, for runs in a game is 19. There's a hit by VR. Down the left field side, there's run number 19 as Marwin scores. Stopping at third base, George Springer. And the Astros trying to keep the damage down a bit. They are not sprinting around the bases, and that's perceived as the right way to play the game by the opposition, but you never stop swinging the bat.
Well, that's an excellent point. You want these guys to go up there and swing it, but sign of respect going station to station now.
So VR drives in a run. And with Brian McTaggart telling us that the club record is 19 runs, that would tie the all-time mark. Colby Rasmus hits a towering pop into right field. Getting there to make the play is Brito. Everybody will hold.
Is it interesting or ironic that VR hit a double in his at bat in place of Carlos Correa?
Oh my goodness. And Carlos Correa, had he hit a double, would have the cycle. Yeah, that's good.
Baseball's a funny game.
That is good. You know what, though? There are 2 games remaining for the Astros. Let's go ahead and concede this one has been determined. Are we to that point?
Wow, you're giving in already?
I'm ready to go there. Colin McHugh goes tomorrow at 7:10 Houston time. That's the start. He'll go against right-hander Jeremy Hellickson. So Colin McHugh shoots for his 19th. Matt Duffy at the plate. And then Sunday, it's a 2:10 Central start. The Astros yet to name who's going to start that one. Robbie Ray is slated for the Diamondbacks. Ball is hit down the left field side, foul.
Oh man, it went right through the wickets. Even the ball dudes down the side are having a tough night.
You're not going to give a name when a guy makes a mistake like that.
I don't want to call him out like that. He's probably got family watching. But if I were, Frank is having a tough night already.
Well,
he hasn't had too many opportunities because everything's been a bullet in fair territory off Astro bats.
Chopper's foul. A little we've seen of Matt Duffy, and he's come up in some big spots. He appears to be a guy that's game to go up and get his hacks.
You got to be aggressive. Don't know how many of these opportunities you're going to have playing some of these tight ball games as a September call up here. A chance to make an impression.
Just his 8th major league plate appearance. He has 6 official at bats. And he's gone 2 for 6. I can figure out that batting average as a double. RBI already. Pacific Coast League Player of the Year right there, Matt Duffy. Keep bringing the talent. Line drive, base hit. Duffy's done it, his 3rd major league hit. That's going to plate 2 runs and make it 21-2. And if the numbers we have are correct, that's an all-time mark for runs scored in a game by the Houston Astros. And 2 RBIs for Matt Duffy, giving 3 already in just 7 official at-bats in the big leagues.
New franchise record at 21 runs. I think that matches a season high points for the Houston Texans on the season.
Stop it.
No, I don't want to. JJ Watt's going to kill me for that one.
He is omnipresent right about now.
Yeah. Be waiting for me at the hotel.
You know what? He can swing the bat too.
Dude, yeah, did you see that, BP?
Man,
he can crush it.
Yeah. So nice going to Matt Duffy. And now Max Stassi gets a chance to swing it.
This is incredible. They've left 6 guys on base.
So what's your prediction for tomorrow's score?
Defensive coordinators have some work to do.
Hey, look, I'm just teasing, but
I was going to go with something there.
You can score 20-something runs, and the next day could be a 1-0 shutout. Hopefully, with Colin McHugh picking up the W.
You got Colin McHugh going tomorrow. We've got Colby Rasmus's rally hairdo going tomorrow. But it's a good thing for these guys to be playing this well. I mean, I know scoring a lot of runs, but this is like a momentum shifter for them going in these last 2 games.
Stassi down on strikes. 2nd out of the inning. And now Jake Marisnick, who started the frame with a base hit, will come to the plate. So the Astros send 10 to the plate here in the 8th inning after having 11 hit in the 7th.
That guy looks how I feel right now.
I'm trying to figure out, are the Astros fans happy here, or
he's just trying to pick that thing? What a great ball game to show up to, by the way. I'm not sure if they're from Arizona, but if you waited all season to have the Astros come through and you got to watch this barrage, you're pretty impressed.
Resnick hits a towering pop down the left field side. Gosselin, just in fair territory, makes the catch, and that'll do it. The Astros add 4 more, and you tally them up. We get to have one of our Houston Methodists helps us get to know, and we're going to do it with Rex Jones, and Jeff Blum knows him very well.
Love Rex Jones. Assistant trainer for the Houston Astros for an extremely long time, mainstay in that, but spent the entire athletic training career in the Astros organization, called up to the big leagues in 1994, 16 years in the minors. Picked up that degree at Central Missouri State. Unmatched attitude around the game and an unmatched mustache in all of baseball. That will be an image it'll be tough not to see in that Astros dugout.
Just got a text from Raleigh Fingers. We can talk about that in a minute. By the way, I was wrong. That was 8 batters that went to the plate in the 8th inning for the Astros. So I was correct about the 4 runs that went on the board. 21-2, Astros lead it. It's the 3 spot now for the Diamondbacks as Jake Long comes to the plate. Paul Goldschmidt went 1 for 3 on his night. And of course, Vince Velasquez on the hill. AJ trying to provide everybody a chance to get in and contribute tonight. I have a feeling that spread's going to be tasty.
They're going to be pretty full after this game.
Knocked down at first base by Singleton. It's an E3. Lamb reaches to start the 8th.
Second baseman, Aaron Hill.
And again, not much time out there at first base for Singleton. Frustrating. Get a chance to look at Vince Velasquez's numbers. He's been doing it out of the bullpen pretty well. 54 2/3 innings and got 57 punch outs. That slider he got from Doug Keuchel has been working out pretty good.
Fastball at 94 from Velasquez. Aaron Hill. He started the night at third base, moved on to second base. He's 1 for 3 with the bat. Had a double and drove in a run in the 3rd inning. That the first run of the night for the Diamondbacks. They put just 2 on the board, the other coming in the 5th as Hill drives one to right field. Springer back, and this one's up against the wall. Second double of the night for Aaron Hill. Runners at second and third against Velasquez. And nobody out.
Catcher, Wellington Castillo.
Brings up the catcher Castillo, who's 1 for 3. It's 8 hits for the Diamondbacks.
Imagine waking up tomorrow as a Houston Astro fan, reading the box score after if you didn't watch the game and just, what? 21 runs? There's still some work to do.
2 more games, if that's where you're going.
And another inning.
Oh, on tonight.
Yeah, they might go for the
I
field
thought you
goal.
were looking ahead. I thought I could catch you looking ahead one time.
I'm more of a present guy, like staying in the present.
The present, we find ourselves in the 8th inning. Two and 0 the count. Colin McHugh tomorrow night against Jeremy Hellickson. AJ is yet to let us know who's going to pitch that Sunday game, and I guess it kind of depends, doesn't it?
I think McCullers might be penciled into that Sunday game, but it depends on a lot
Yes.
of, the Angels situation, the Astros situation.
So let me ask you, if you get through Saturday and you've locked down a postseason spot and it doesn't, and you don't have a shot to win the division, which is still the goal, would you be inclined to keep McCullers out of there and have him be the guy that starts the postseason for you?
It's a good question, because a lot depends on if you have to play that 163rd game. But if you go straight into that wild card playoff, tell you what, the ultimate goal is to go into that division series and not have to worry about that wild card, because then you get the extra day off or two.
Dallas Keuchel works 6 innings tonight. It's Friday, so he would have Saturday, Sunday, and you'd have to give him at least Monday before you'd even consider throwing him out there again. Ground ball hit to third. A run will score as Duffy comes up with the out at first base. First out of the inning. It's now 21-3. And that is an unearned run. Jake Lamb was the guy that reached on the E3. So yeah, it depends is really kind of what Sunday's all about right now.
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of those situations too. Say they lock everything up. Tomorrow's the greatest day on the planet, and the stars are aligned and everything goes the Astros way, and they clinch some kind of playoff berth. And then Sunday, it still could be a situation where Lance McCullers goes out for 3 innings, gets his work in, and then you just go to the bullpen and work guys out, or have a long guy that comes in and just destroys some innings for you.
Duffy with another play at third base. Well, he gets rid of it quickly and has the second out of the inning.
But that is not my job. My job is to make stuff up.
And you're doing a fine job at it.
Shortstop, Chris.
Cal education paid off.
Chris Owings now stands in. We've got a low battery. Everything else has gone right tonight for the Astros.
Got to stay charged up for these things, Ash.
Yes, you do. You and I charged up okay. The little device we've got here. Carlos Correa said, "Man, I had a shot at a cycle tonight." Good to see him swinging it well again. George Springer doing the same, and a lot of guys here with the night the Astros had offensively.
Yeah, some big numbers being put up, much to the delight of Astro fans and AJ Hinch.
Oh, 2 the count. 95 out of the arm of Vince Velasquez. Love this arm, but like anybody else, he needs a little more consistent outings to be really sharp. Just did not come into tonight's game anticipating it might go like this. But Max Stassi just moves along side to side and straight ahead on pitches in the dirt so well. Oh, that's beautiful work. Gets those knees down very quickly.
Keep in mind the score is 21-3, and he's still moving around like that too. He could get lackadaisical, but still getting after it.
Well, he's just doing the job right, and that's what we've seen. I think our fans are hanging with the Astros tonight.
Yeah, actually quite a few are.
Good.
It's good to see him hanging around. It's quite a few here. Good grief, Chris. Again, Vince Velasquez giving up foul ball after foul ball.
When he first showed up on the scene, that's kind of the way it went for him. Well, I'll go way beyond kind of. But then he found a way. He actually took a little velocity off and had a start or two that were just beautiful. Fastball got him at 96. Owings down on strikes. That'll do it for the D-backs. They do get on the board as we go to the 9th inning. It's 21-3. Astros lead it.
Plenty to choose from, so we're going to show you a bunch of them. Colby Rasmus, Chris Carter, George Springer, Luis Valbuena. Drop shot right there. Laser to center field for a bomb for Carlos Correa. Rasmus, Valbuena. I'm just going to start rattling off names. There were too many knocks to go around. These guys were getting after it tonight. Not too many balls softly hit, but even the ones that weren't hit as hard as some of these were getting raked all over the field. Plenty of territory out there to drop a shot into, and 17 of them following, leading to 21 runs.
Number 16, Hank Conger.
Hank Conger comes up as a pinch hitter in the 8th spot for the Astros. Conger, Singleton, and Marwin Gonzalez here in the inning. The Astros struck early. They have struck often. 3 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third and fourth innings. Then they took the 5th off, came back in the 6th with 3, 7 in the 7th inning, 4 in the 8th. And that's how you totaled 21 runs.
Pretty impressive stuff.
Conger has himself a knock. Takes a tough pitch, looked like a splitter down. Lines it into right center field. Hank Conger in the act. He was in the act last night in the dugout.
Yeah, he's got a pretty good skit going on down there.
First baseman John Singleton.
Good job of going down to get that.
That's 18 Houston hits. John Singleton drew a walk and scored in the 8th inning.
How about all the pinch hitters getting hits?
Matt Duffy, Hank Conger.
On the other side,
Jonathan VR.
VR, yeah.
Yeah, the
finishing off the cycle at shortstop.
3 guys with pinch hits in the 9 spot in their order. Base hit gets you over that 200 mark, so you know these are big at bats for John, for everybody. You ever go to the plate in a big lead and think, this doesn't matter? Fly ball to right off the end of the bat of Singleton.
How do you go to the plate and not think that the at-bat matters?
And that's the point. I think it's dead on. I think it's easy for
Second baseman
for us as fans who are in this position to say, well, you know, game's decided, it doesn't matter. But these guys come to the plate, they pull that bat out of the bat rack, and it becomes very serious.
Yes. And if it's not, they need to be checked.
Yeah, that's right as well. Marwin, with his first plate appearance, came on as a pinch runner in the 8th inning and scored. The Angels winners 2-1 over the Texas Rangers tonight. They've split the series a game apiece. Minnesota drops one as they host Kansas City. 3-1 final there. So the Twins have 2 more losses than the Astros. The Angels have 1 more. Or yes, 1 more loss. The Rangers have 2 less. So the Astros could catch Texas and need to stay in front of the Angels in particular.
That looks comfortable.
The best the Twins can do right now, following tonight's Astros, let's call it a victory. Okay with that one? Would be to tie Houston.
It's a pretty strong limb you went out on.
I was looking for the strongest one I could find.
I think you got it.
Ground ball through a vacated left side. That's the kind of night it is. Stopping at second is Conger. So Marwin is 1 for 1 on his night. And he does it left-handed, and maybe that's a very good sign because that's the side of the plate we have not seen Marwin swing from for a while.
Right fielder, George Springer.
There's a look at it. So those half games will turn into full games down at the bottom. The Angels will be 1 game back. The Twins will be 2 games back. Yankees still have some games to make up with the weather issues they're going through. 2 games back of the Rangers that you're talking about. So that'll be 85 wins for the Astros, 87 for the Rangers.
Yeah, the Rangers, I mean, the Yankees are really in the same spot the Rangers are in terms of the Astros' perspective. If they lose all 3, they've lost 75, and that's exactly where the Astros presently are. And why it all comes back to the Astros just going out and winning out.
Yeah, so you could have said if they win all 3 games, they'll have the same amount of wins.
That's right. If you like to play on the win side, you can do it that way as well.
Now, I don't know if you noticed, but Marwin did not want to swing that bat left-handed. If we're still kind of talking about game, because that left-handed swing from Marwin did not look happy at all. Even though it ended up in a knock, which will take a little bit of the pain away, but it was not the standard Marwin swing. So what players in this game did you have on your fantasy football team? Here's that swing. Just kind of flailing at it, just not staying back.
I believe it's the left hand where the thumb and wrist have been in question.
I think anyway. The top hand with the impact.
Well, I know the thumb thing came up with a diving play with the glove, and he jammed the glove and thumb in the ground.
Is that what it was?
Now, in terms of the wrist, you know, it's kind of carried on for a while, and it's hard to remember.
I'd like to see that thing heal up, because he was is a valuable part of this ball club.
But I'm assuming because he's been so strong and feeling fine swinging from the right side that it also is the left wrist and thumb kind of ganging up on him. Springer hits one on the ground. They'll get George at first base. The other runners move up. 2 outs in the inning. And it brings up Jonathan Villar, who came on and picked up a double to drive in a run in the 8th inning.
Shortstop, Jonathan Villar.
It's always that question when you're in a blowout. You're seeing some of your teammates being taken out of the game, and you stay in. You start to wonder, what's the deal, Skip?
You know what AJ is going to say to Springer?
You need every at bat you can get right now. And
remember those 2 months you missed?
Yeah, that's right. And I think that's probably what the response would be.
Well, that and you know, Carlos Gomez out of the game with that intercostal maybe re-aggravated that, so giving him a break that way. But at the same time, you know, more ABs for George is a good thing.
VR taps one out toward the mound. Quick play and they get him, and that'll do it for Houston in the 9th. They do not get on the board. It's still 21-3 as the Astros try to close it out. Root Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Chase Field is the scene of the crime tonight, and the Astros perpetrated with 21 runs. They lead at 21-3 as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Socrates Brito at the plate. And Michael Feliz on the hill. I'm assuming that's Socrates in Spanish, or is that an accent on the first syllable? Socrates. Not sure.
It's got the little thing above the O.
Yeah. So if that's accurately placed, then it could be Socrates.
Or it could just be Socrates.
Socrates is.
No, I doubt that. I don't want to butcher the poor kid's name.
Yeah, but we've been told it's Socrates. A lot of the
yeah.
guys, and for those who speak Spanish and wonder, a lot of the players will just anglicize their names, and that's exactly what they'll tell everybody to call them. So
yeah, that's what I was just going to ask you. Is it, you know, they kind of make it a little bit easier for everybody over here in the States to pronounce their name.
Adrian Beltre, a great example, a guy that's been around for a long, long time. It would be Adrian or Adrienne or wherever the accent is, but he wouldn't know who you were talking to if you said that to him. I mean, he's a guy that's accepted it and said that's the way he wants it. Michael Feliz has a 3-2 count. Brito, the 8-hitter. Oscar Hernandez waits on deck. So it's clear out your benches night. And a strikeout of Brito. That's out number 1 here in the 9th inning. We've got a happy birthday that goes out to Lance McCullers today. Shame on me for forgetting that. Wow. Stings, Groucho Marx, Mahatma Gandhi. What a birthday.
They've almost scored a run for every year he's been alive.
Help me with Matt Reynolds.
Actor
Matt Reynolds?
I have no idea. No, he's the
one of the Diamondbacks.
Strikeout king.
Little looper drops in right field. It's a base hit. So another pinch hit. That's a 4-for-4 night for the 9 spot for the Diamondbacks. 4 different pinch hitters, all with hits. I need to know the last time that ever happened in a game.
That's pretty incredible stuff to see 4 pinch hitters getting hits all in a row. Stay tuned after the game as Bart Ennis and the ever athletic Mike Stanton break down all the action from tonight's game, plus interviews from the clubhouse and much more on the post-game show presented by Houston Methodist.
You think the guys have hung around and they're ready for this?
Well, I know they hung around for a little bit because when I made the comment about the pitcher, Mike Stanton, about jumped through my phone yelling at me.
About the athlete thing.
Yeah.
You were just kidding, right? The silence is deafening.
Well, it's either Mike Stanton yelling at me or Woody Williams yelling at me.
Yeah. Oh, and 2 the count. This is the leadoff man, A.J. Pollock. He had a hit starting things back in the 1st inning after the Astros had put 3 on the board. And you thought, oh no, here come the Diamondbacks, a very good offensive team. But he's 0 for 3 since. Yeah, that's one of the real dangers of facing a team like the Diamondbacks when you need 3 victories. They are very good offensively.
It's not going to show up.
Keeps it in front.
Not going to show up in the box score, obviously, tonight. But yeah, they've got some kids that can drive the ball. We saw, Brian kid drive one deep into the night. Man, that was a bomb. But good pitching can beat good offenses, especially young offenses.
Stays at 1-2. You see the kind of arm Feliz has, 95 miles an hour. Who are the guys that have had the big nights for the Astros? Well, if you're talking numbers of hits, Carlos Correa had 3 on his night, including 4 RBIs, scored 4 runs. Luis Valbuena, 3 hits, drove in a pair and scored a pair. Colby Rasmus with a pair of hits, 3 ribbies, and scored 4 times. Duffy bobbles momentarily and gets the out at first. So no shot at the double play after that bobble. Into second base is Hernandez. 2 outs. And Phil Gosselin, who started as one of the infielders, moved to left field early. He'll stand in. Dallas Keuchel is the man who will pick up the W tonight. And when it happens, it'll be number 20. Dallas threw 99 pitches, has the ERA at 2.48, as he is apparently done with the regular season. And we say apparently, Monday is potential to be played. And if that happens, that game would be a regular season game.
2007 with the Padres, I got to play in the 163rd game of that season, and the Rockies beat us to go into the playoffs. They ended up going to the World Series and losing to the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, remember it well.
So do I, because Matt Holliday has yet to touch home plate.
Yeah, that was the big question mark about that one. They didn't have replay in those days.
Would have been nice.
The Astros had a big 163rd back in 1980 as they beat the Dodgers. Ground ball hits the bag, kicks into left field. Gosselin has his first hit of the night. It's a double, plates a run, and it's now 21-4. A couple of hits in the inning. Kind of been one of those nights, hasn't it?
Some breaks. Tuve wants this thing to end up.
He's had his hair cut like Springer's right about now. I mean, that's a sharp look, but
you say so.
Well, let's get the whole team to go in on that Springer do.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Oh, and 2 the count. Possibly down to a strike.
You know how pumped my girls would be if I came home with that George Springer haircut?
Do it.
They would love it.
Show something.
I don't have to do anything. You're telling me that's the one.
There we go.
That kid's got it right.
Colby Rasmus has had that kind of a haircut.
Oh, man.
I think George has had one of those, hasn't he?
Oh, George has been rocking the mohawk for a long time.
But I mean, he's had a legit mohawk in the past, I believe. Now, maybe you're saying he's had one. I know he's had like a version of a mohawk going this year. Is it exactly that style?
Not to that extent.
Yeah, I think he might have had one last year as well.
I'm not entirely sure, but the one he's got right now is working.
Boy, it is nice. It's got his teammates hot. There's a balk. So we've had a little bit of everything.
Why not? Just keep us on our toes. That's the hardest part in some of these games, is just the concentration level, trying to maintain it for this long. With this much action going on, it's hard for everybody.
Sure, Feliz didn't hurt himself here.
Yeah, that was awkward, huh?
Let's hope not. Kind of reach for the right thigh, but it's usually the groin that bothers a guy in that delivery.
Oh, because it was at that point he was on that one leg, getting ready to push off, and something shut down.
Yeah, you hope that's not the groin. That can really be troublesome. Six pitchers for the Diamondbacks tonight. Feliz is number 4 for Houston. No quit in either side here this evening. Angels beat the Texas Rangers. And the Minnesota Twins beaten by Kansas City. Really the only games that matter in terms of what the Astros are looking at.
Tell you what, there's been plenty of runs and plenty of souvenirs being fired into the stands.
Feliz with the 2-2 once again. Maybe a bit surprising the number of fans that have hung around here in this 21-4 outing.
Quite a few.
Evan Gattis is just not going to be allowed to participate in that hairdo thing at the end of the year.
That's not nice. Follically challenged.
Well, I'm in the same boat, but
give me a break. You have an afro compared to what he's got.
And a walk.
You sound pretty pleased about that.
I didn't see you cheerleading on it either.
No, I was just beginning to realize that the Astros have scored 21 runs, and Evan Gattis, the RBI leader on the team, doesn't have any of them.
Not to mention home run leader.
Yeah.
And the Astros have slammed 4 long balls tonight. Aaron Hill at the plate. Veteran second baseman. 2 for 4 with a couple of doubles. A good time for Stassi to go out to the mound.
Might be just to give Michael Feliz a breather. He's working hard.
See, that issue has run deep tonight. Laz Diaz lays off that one. It's 1-1. Good luck on the Reeds post game tonight.
I'm getting a little giddy right now. Oh, Correa's fallen victim of the gum on the hoodie there. Picking on the rookie. Things are getting interesting.
You can always tell when your teammates' eyes aren't looking you in the face. They're they're looking at the top of your head.
Yeah.
Carlos Gomez can't keep his eyes off the hoodie. Hill rams it foul. Stays alive at 2-2. Can't happen, can it?
But game end.
Turnaround time. Aaron Hill with a base hit. His third knock of the night provides run number 5 for the Diamondbacks. They put 2 on the board here in the 9th inning. Glance down at the Astros bullpen. It's still quiet. And there's no way anybody wants to have to get up at this point. It's in the hands of Michael Feliz. And that brings up the 5-hitter, the catcher Wellington Castillo, who's been back at the plate for every one of the pitches thrown tonight by the Diamondbacks. All 213 of them.
Wow.
One and 2 the count. We'll be right back here tomorrow. Get a little glimpse of what Max Stassi does. I mean, that is the way you would teach any young catcher to do the job. Watch what happens here. To the knees, glove down, body bends over the baseball. Doesn't try to catch it with the glove, just perfection. And it stays at 2-2.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity for Stassi to put his skills on showcase too here in September.
I really like him as a receiver, and the blocking skills are just mad good right now. Haven't seen him have to throw.
That's the next step, is to see if he can get those base runners.
And that'll do it. Foul tip hung on to by Max Stassi, and the Astros come into Arizona after picking up a hard-fought win Wednesday in Seattle to take 2 out of 3. And now have won 3 out of 4 on this road trip. They win it 21-5. And they remain at 8, or make that 75 losses. If they can hang right there, they're in a great spot. And they will celebrate this one, enjoy a nice meal, a brief little sleep, and come out and try to do it again tomorrow. 21-5 the final this evening.